those tear-offs, roll-offs, get that vision set up, because, folks, you do not want to be near that mud behind your goggles.
That start is going to be ever important. It's always important, but even more so this morning. These first handful of motos, the start is going to be extremely important in these divisions. And since this division is supposed to gate choice for the second moto coming up.
Yeah, you got to get a good finish. Got to be top 16 even to get directly without going to the LCQ, which is a race that nobody really wants to be in. That's too much pressure. So, yeah, get a good start. Get out in front. Don't have to deal with that roost on your face there.
Couple of names here come to mind. Carson Wood, 28R, joins us. Caden Dudney, the Team Green Kawasaki Monster Energy Pro Circuit backed rider. He'll be number 40. The Flying Finch joins us out of Surprise, Arizona, number 67.
You know, I got to say, I was at the AZ Open. I had a chance to see him racing out at that one. He has really brought the level up. I know I watched him here last year.
Yep.
Good rides.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, good rides, but nothing outstanding. But, boy, he has really come up another level. So, yeah, keep your eyes on Milliken.
Yeah, Milliken goes good. Of course, Heath Fisher, Margarita Madden-Jones, number 50, Eli Gross, Max Shane, Nathaniel Orr, just to name a few of them here. Vincent Wade, Landon Gordon, the 180.
Yep, you got Cole Timbo in there. Yeah, this is a pretty stacked division. So, if you're in this Super Mini 2 division race, you had better get a good start because, yeah, there is a ton of talent in this one. And we got a whole bunch more coming out in the Division 2 race as well.
You got the 419 Deacon Dino out of Malakoff, Texas. The Deacon, as I like to call him. He's always a front runner. So we've got a handful of stacked or extremely talented riders here in the Super Mini 2 that, when I say a handful, that stacked and talented, that can win a moto, win a division.
Oh, yeah, these are all racers who we would be able to say, all right, that guy can definitely take the win. And when you're lining up with other riders who you know can beat you, it's like, all right, that's going to put a little more pressure on it.
So also want to remind all mechanics during the sight lap to please have a rag available at the start gate so you can wipe down the number plates after the sight lap before we drop the gates for race action. That'll help the scorers and the announcers recognize your bikes and numbers. So here it is. After a couple of inches of rain last night, Don, we're getting a good look here.
Yeah, it was a little misty last night. It was a little bit of moisture that was coming down there. Once again, folks, if you've got a pit bike, you need to keep it clear of the track exit lane. So if you're down there in the impound area, you got a pit bike, keep it clear of that track exit. The bikes need to be able to get off cleanly. And also, don't leave them out in the middle of the walkway here for the tunnel that you go under to the infield. If you've got a pit bike, you need to park it off the side next to the fences. Do not leave it out in the middle of the walkways, and do not block up the track exit, please.
So as we did yesterday morning, the sight lap for the Super Mini 2, then we'll continue with a sight lap for the next remaining 7 classes. Mechanics, please wipe down the number plates after the sight lap. Help us out here. It is the 40 of Cade Dudney out of Athens, Texas, leading the sight lap here. He's going to make his way back in.
I got to tell you, Shan, he looks pretty free of mud and muck, so they've really done a good job cleaning this track up. As the first few bikes coming over, they're not like loaded up with mud.
Yeah, Heath Fisher, number 47, out of Australia. His bike looks good, as well as the 419. Deacon Dino, the Deacon. It is literally a who's who in this Division 1. Let's take a look, Don, at Division 2. Let's look at some of the names here.
Oh, yeah.
Cannon Hargrove, Jonathan Getz.
Yep, Lachlan Turner's a rider who can get it done in the Super Mini.
Cody Wells, Kane Balacina.
Yep. You got Cash Peterson. I know we've seen Cash here before having some good ride. Landon Gibson. Yeah, we got, this is a pretty stacked field. I think it doesn't matter whether you're in Division 1 or 2, you're going to have your hands full in the Super Mini 2.
Okay, attention to the pits. Attention in the pits. We need to see Andrew Howard and Anthony DeLima. Anthony DeLima and Andrew Howard, please report down to the STACYC registration tower. It's very important. Or if you know them, please tap on their motorhome, their camper, and send them down to the registration tower immediately. It's very important. You will be happy to come down to the tower.
So sight laps underway here as we get ready to get into the racing program. All right, so as we work through the sight lap here, just want to give a shout out, folks. If you need septic service, the folks from the septic service are here. They'll be coming around the pits. You can flag them down if you need to have things pumped out. So septic service is available on site now. So working through the sight lap here, we're getting the rest of the riders all the way through their sight laps. So winding down the sight lap here as we get ready to start the race day with the Super Mini 2. This is Division 1 of Super Mini 2 going to come off the gate first. So still a few bikes coming off the track here for the sight laps. Going to let those riders complete the sight lap. I see some folks still coming up out of that lower Loop 270 section. All right, looks like we've got the first moto of the day lined up in the gate as we get ready to go racing here. Before we get underway, I would like to have you welcome Kevin Kozad from MXers for Jesus for our morning rider invocation. Kevin?
Thank you, Don. As I always say, as a family of racers, let us pray together this morning. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you as we stand here on day 2 of racing. And we're not just praying again out of tradition, but we're praying out of faith and believing for your presence to be with us today. We thank you that as the first gate drops to the last gate drop, that you're with us, that you're with each and every rider, that you protect them and lead them and let them all perform the best of their ability. Father, we ask you to be with the Miller family and all the staff here at Freestone County Raceway. And Father, as we always say, the men and women that provide the freedoms we enjoy, the men and women that serve our country in the military, wherever they are today, bless them, protect them, and let them come home safe. We thank you for a fun day with our family because we ask it now in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Kevin. If you would now at all, please join me in welcoming Don Thornton for our national anthem.
If you would, please face the starting line and take your hats off and put your right hand over your heart, please. And join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All righty, thank you, Don. A marvelous rendition of our national anthem there. And it's time to fire them up on the line and get ready to go racing.
Well, Don Collins, you got to watch him take those sight laps out there. We watched this one back here in front of us. Literally, the front tire disappeared. He lost his front wheel in the depths.
It got a little deep. It got a little deep. Not going to lie, Luke. It's a little deep out there. But, hey, guess what? That is why we race. That is all the stuff you get ready for. That's why you make all those preparations to deal with these conditions. And I would say that there's going to be no problem for these races once we get into the race program. This track is going to come around. So, Super Mini 2. This is Division 1, going to come off the gate next.
Biggest problem we're going to have is seeing number plates. I think it's going to be difficult early, or shortly after they come through here. I think we're going to be struggling to see number plates, but we've got some fancy technology.
There you go.
They're underway, Don. They're driving down turn 1 here, ripping through turn 1. Got Shan Garcia, the 118 machine out front early on.
And it looks like the 79 of Max Shane into the second spot, the 47 Heath Fisher third.
Heath Fisher, the rider out of Townsville, Northern Australia.
So waiting to see if we can get a little better look at the bikes as they make their way through into the twist and shout section, trying to spot those numbers here early. So it looks like that's going to be Heath Fisher in the fourth spot coming up to the Dunlop Expressway.
It is a Cowie out front, Don. Can't tell who for sure that is yet.
So it might be, no.
Oh, the rider in third does a little swap action. Just about goes down, leaving the Shock Socks S-turn there. Keeps it rubber side down, holds on to that number 3 spot.
So it is the 18 of Gordon out front. So Landon Gordon. So it's the 18 Kawasaki Landon Gibson who is out in front. A little bit of Landon Gordon out in front. And it looks like we've got the 79 of Max Shane taking over the lead coming to the 12 pack.
Looks like Gordon relegated back into the number 2 spot there, but making really good headway coming through the 12 pack now. Into the switch for the finish line.
These opening laps going to be a little tricky, so it's going to take a little time for these riders to settle in. Looks like the 343 of Cole Timbo up to third. So Max Shane, Landon Gordon, Cole Timbo, your top 3. Heath Fisher, Deacon Deno going to round out the top 5.
Don Collins, these guys negotiating this track a whole lot faster than I thought they would. I mean, they're really carrying some speed.
Well, you know, that's a testament to the skill of the rider and the work they did out on the track to bring it back into shape so early.
You know, that's true, and I think they knew that this was coming. We stopped motos a touch early yesterday so they could start prepping for the imminent weather that was making its way this way. So hats off to the track crew and the staff here that knew things were coming and got proactive.
All right, leaders coming out of the Leonard Skinner Oak Tree turn. Looks like the Kawasaki back out front.
So Landon Gordon, the 180 machine, in that number 1 spot once again.
Yeah, going to pop through the inside of that rhythm section there into the Shock Socks S turn. So there is the Kawasaki Team Green Ride, Landon Gordon coming out of the Shock Socks S turn and down the Freestone Freeway.
So Don Collins, these riders close enough that they're trying to, maybe even trying to modulate how close they get to try to keep that roost out of their eyes, and that's going to factor in just the ability to see. You get up on that rider in front of you, you really can't stay there long. If you get up close, you're going to have to make the move quickly because the view is going to go south quick.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to set those passes up and then really just charge through and
Yeah.
execute, because you're right, Luke. You don't want to be right behind those back tires in this condition here. So watching them come back up to the top of the hill there, and that is the 18 of Gordon, the 180 of Gordon.
Looks like Gordon opted for the roll-offs there. You can see the big bulges on the side of his goggles there.
Yeah, that's sort of a different preference, depends on what the rider likes, but I know the roll-off system, a lot of folks like that because you get a lot more pulls on that than you can stack up for tear-offs. And if you're like me when you ride, you just yank that whole stack off on lap
I was
one.
the king of going 7 at a time on the tear-offs. And another cool thing about the roll-off is you're just looking through one layer. If you put so many layers of tear-off on, it starts to distort the view. Oh, wow, that rider in third. I mean, pounding it into that right-hander there before the finish line.
Yeah, that's Timbo on the 343. And Deno now going to move up a spot as he gets around Fisher. So Deno to fourth. Fisher will drop down to fifth. And right now, looking at the final transfer in 16th, that's the 105 of Rossi Shimade. And that right there is the final transfer ticket. So that rider on the 105 needs to stay there or move up a little. So running down the order, Landon Gibson, Max Shane, Cole Timbo, Deacon Deno, and Heath Fisher, top five. Grayson Townsend, Wyatt Harrington, Carson Milliken, Caden Dudney, and Eli Gross through the top 10. Rider down right before the finish line. That's the 81, Nate Orr.
Well, Don, they call Mud the great equalizer, but a lot of the names up front is who the names we expect to be up front. It's really no surprise seeing a lot of these guys running up here that are up here.
Yeah, if you're a skilled rider, you're going to be able to handle any of the conditions they can throw at you, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, there's a tendency for a lot of riders when it gets like this, they just park the bikes, they don't want to have to wash them, and they don't want to mess with it. But these riders that are out front on days when it's like this, they fire them bikes up, they take them out, they get them muddy, because that's how you learn to ride this stuff, is to just get out in it and do it.
I didn't even want to drive my rent-a-car into the parking lot for this. It was so
Well, I was tiptoeing lightly. I don't want to get my shoes muddy either, so I understand fully.
But yeah, there is no problems out front for the 18, the Monster Energy Team Green Ride.
Turned a 2:23.9 his last time through. Got the fastest lap there on lap 2, 2:23.9. We'll keep an eye on that. Track will probably get faster as the day progresses. But this first moto, these guys are having to cut the lines in through the soup.
You know, surprisingly, that is not really too far off the pace we saw yesterday.
No, that's
so
what I'm saying. I'm really
they're getting it
surprised
done.
how fast they're negotiating these conditions right now. They're moving. Again, Landon Gordon on the 180 machine out front. Went down through the top 10. We'll go through the top 16 here. We'll start at 11 with Barth, Way, Bowling, Orr, Moon, and Shoemate. Shoemate there in the number 16 spot. He's in the transfer. Williams back there in 17th, so we'll keep an eye on that. Both those riders clicking off 2-minute, 50-second lap time, so they're going to be battling.
Yeah, and at this point, it can really just come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. Looks like the 67 of Milliken starting to march through the field a little bit. He's in 8th. He was in 12th on the first lap, so we're seeing the 67 start to move up. But yeah, Gordon, Shane, and Timbo continue to charge out front.
Well, Don, those first 3 riders come through, 4 riders come through. Their front number plates are gone. So, you know, if their front number plates that way, they're catching that same stuff on the goggles. So these guys working hard to just try to see. A lot of people don't like the roll-off because it's such a narrow band that you're looking through, and it takes away some of your periphery. But for me, I'm a fan of the roll-off in these kind of situations because, like you said, you get a lot more pulls. And I was the king of 7 tear-offs at a time. I would reach up and just basically rip my goggles off my head.
Yep. Not a good situation, that's for sure. Well, there it is on the 18. That is Landon Gordon coming out of the Oak Tree turn. Holding about a 2-second gap here, 1.5 seconds. It's been about the same most of the race. Shane able to get around him early on, but Gordon getting right back into the lead. So this is where we expect to see the 18 Kawasaki.
Vincent Way coming across back there in 11th. And I would figure Vincent probably gets his fair share of riding in the mud.
Yeah, they do a bit of mud riding up there in Michigan, I'm sure. So I'm sure he's not surprised, but we were talking about it before. These days, in this condition, the start is key.
Absolutely.
If he was buried off the start, he's going to have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, making passes is very, very difficult in these conditions, especially with the track basically forming one line primarily early on. And then, like we talked about a minute ago, once you catch somebody, then you got to deal with that roost, and being able to see is an issue.
So going to be going by the halfway point in this moto here. As we see the 18, again, coming up to the top of the hill. Dropping down through the Bud Moore throttle section.
Well, Williams was in 17th a while ago. Don, looks like Matthew Williams has moved up into that number 16 position. So
going to push the 105 off the box there and going to make him go to the LCQ, Luke, which is where you don't want to be. So if you're watching live online on Outlaw Productions TV, you're seeing a beautiful shot there, the overhead shot of Freestone County Raceway. Beautiful green pastures surround the Freestone course.
That's artwork right there. Look at that.
It is a beautiful sight. The Miller family farm here. Just green and lovely grass as far as the eye can see.
Well, you talked about it on day one in practice, Don. You encouraged us all to just remember to slow our roll for just a minute and just take a breath and let the beauty of where we're at and what we're doing get into who you are. And I want to remind us all to do that once again. Don't get so caught up in it all that you don't enjoy this awesome opportunity to come out here and spend this week out here at the Miller Farm. And such a beautiful time of year for us this year. And we've got great weather this year, although it rained a little bit last night. Everything is lush and green. It's just absolutely beautiful. We're blessed to be here.
Absolutely, Luke. Couldn't have not agree more.
Well, Gordon's still holding on to that number 1 spot. And got Shane in the number 2 spot, followed by Timbo, Deno, Fisher. That is your top 5. And those riders not really gapped out real hard, but again, struggling to get close enough to each other to make a move.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good battle through the 10 spot. Townsend, Harrington, Milliken, and Dudney have been going at it. They're all in the same section of track, kind of going after those spots. So we've got some good battles working throughout the top 10.
Yeah, there really is some good slicing and dicing out there, conditions considered. It's tough for sure. And here's these couple of riders coming through side by side through the S-turn, and that is the 811 machine. Now, he might be a back marker because it looked like the 47 of Heath Fisher trying to make his way through. You notice a lot of these riders have a towel hanging off their hip, and man, that's just a great idea because you go down one time and get your hands in that mess and those grips, everything's just difficult to hang on to, and it's a great idea to be able to wipe that stuff off real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be dealing with that mud and grit on your hands trying to hang on to the bike.
Well, and I'm seeing some riders come by with latex as an outer layer so that if they go down, they can rip that latex and have that clean grip again.
All right, your leader going to head the FMF Powerwall and into the 12-pack, and it is going to be the white flag coming out this time around for Landon Gordon.
Okay, seriously, people, we've got to stop parking our pit vehicles, blocking the entrance down here. We've got to have a way for emergency vehicles to get in and out. We've got water trucks, we've got tractors and dozers and lots of different kinds of vehicles. We've got to make sure we're not blocking the track entrance with the pit vehicles. So we're fixing to start putting chains on those and locking them to a tree. If you're not responsible with your pit vehicle, I'll take it home and I'll be responsible with it.
Too bad I can't get that in my carry-on to take home with me on the plane, Luke, because I'd love to have a new pit bike at home.
There's some pretty nice pitters down there right now that I'm eyeballing, so I'm kind of hoping they keep parking them there.
Yeah, maybe I'll cancel my plane ticket and just ride a pit bike home to
Go Dumb and Dumber.
It'll only take me about 9 days. It shouldn't be bad.
Well, Don Collings, Landon Gordon still holding that number 1 spot. Just turned the fastest lap of the moto here on lap 5 with a 2:22. So they're just continuing to bring those lap times down. Look at Deacon Deno. Both those riders turning 2:22.0, so they're matching each other's lap times. But that 5.6 second margin between the two riders, Landon Gordon sitting pretty nice out front.
Yeah, he's on his way to the Kawasaki step-up right now. So about a half a lap left to go for him to grab the checkered flag, get himself into that second half of racing directly out of the division. Super Mini 2 division number 2 going to be coming off the gate next. 50cc 6-7 limited should be in staging. 65 10 11 you should be in staging, as well as Schoolboy 2 12-17 division 1 and 2.
Well, Don, we've had this cloud cover since we've got here Tuesday, and it's been a blessing. I think some of the riders now are thinking maybe if the sun would come out, it wouldn't be all bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I think you're better off with the cloud cover because when the sun comes out, this stuff gets dry and sticky, and that stuff just stays right on the bike. So probably better off with the overcast that we have right now. I don't think you want this base to get real hard because it's going to definitely make it a little bit heavier on the bikes.
Well, it sure makes it pretty out there with just the way the lighting is right now. It'd be a photographer's dream to be out there catching these riders. Look at those guys going full send over
Look
the
at this
power wall.
The 419 of Deno is caught.
He just made the
makes
move.
a pass.
What in the world for the checkered flag?
Whoa.
Not sure what happened to Gordon, but Deno from 5.6 seconds back caught him and passed him on the last lap to take the checkered flag. The Deacon doing business.
Yeah, came out of nowhere.
Wasn't even watching that. Just happened to look down here in the corner, and there he was.
Honestly, something must have gone on with Gordon down in the 270 loop because there was a big gap between those two riders.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up finishing 1.6 seconds behind the Deacon.
Well, there you go. So Deacon Deno landing Gordon 1 and 2. Matt Shane will take third. Cole Timbo and Heath Fisher going to round out your top 5.
Checker flag flying for race number 22, Division 1. That's Super Mini 2, 13 to 16 Division 1. Super Mini 2, 13 to 16 Division 2 on the gate. And they are moving start straight right now. We'll see if we can get you a heads up. Possibly as to who gets the start here.
Looks like a KTM out front. Or is that a gas?
Well, I thought I could see the number, and I went to look at my paperwork, and I had it wrong, so we're just going to have to.
Yeah, we'll have to wait until they get a little bit more closer to view here.
Yeah, still not sure what happened with Gordon back there, but man, Deno stayed on it.
And hey, you know what? That's why you tell your rider, don't ever give up. Keep pushing.
Looks like the 723 machine Landon Gibson, sure enough, out Peachtree City, Georgia.
Yep, that is a gas out front there.
And he is on the gas. Look at that gap already, Don Collings.
Well, that's the thing. You get out front early, you want to make the most of it. He is doing that, so he's going to stay ahead here.
So Kane
looks like
Molina in the number 2 spot right out of St. Louis, Missouri. Shannon Hargrove in the number 3 spot. Got Shan Garcia on the binoculars, breaking it. The double deuce of Getz in 4th. Yeah, he said, that's all I can see. They're already covered in mud.
All right, so they are hard at it here in Super Mini 2, Division number 2.
Hargrove has a big bobble there in the Shock Sox S-turn. Able to stay on top of the machine barely.
And just want to remind you folks, the Open A Pro Sport will be coming up at 10 a.m. So Open A Pro Sport riders, you're going to need to get ready to head down to staging for a 10 o'clock moto. So this will be 30-minute notice to head to staging. So we need you in staging at 9:45. That is 30 minutes from now.
The 723 machine still holding on to that number 1 spot. Looks like he's coming through the Budmore throttle section up over Cemetery Hill. Slamming that gas into the FMF Powerwall. Into the Texas 12-pack all by himself, coming in here to complete the green flag lap. Here he comes. Competition now just coming up over the FMF Powerwall. Looks like Getz making his way up towards the back wheel of our rider in the number 2 spot, which is the 314 machine. So Getz on the gas. Getz going Brock Lever-esque, represent the pink out there.
Yeah, he's trying to get around Molina as quick as he can to go after the leader here because you know he does not want to be in that 3rd spot. Jonathan Getz really wanted to make the move. So it's Landon Gibson, Kane Molina, Jonathan Getz, Ken Hargrove, and Andre Ruse, top 5. Braden Johnson, Logan Mortberg, Oliver Kemp, Lachlan Turner, and Cody Wells rounding out your top 10.
Not sure who that rider is. Maybe Ross or Johnson back there, but had had the roll-offs, streamer of roll-offs flapping behind him there, so he had some technical difficulties with the roll-offs.
That's the only problem with those is sometimes that capsule will pop open, then you end up with a streamer flying behind you, which is the most annoying thing in the world.
You get a tear off just flapping there, that just takes your concentration.
And it's still there, so whoever that rider is, he's going to have to deal with that.
Get still back there in third.
Yeah,
he's going to roll up on the back well, Bolsina, but again, once you catch him, then your vision goes south.
Yeah, you got to make that pass quick. I think he might have got him coming out of the Dunlop drop. Yeah, Getz has moved to second now. So it is still Getz battling with Bolsina for the second spot. My mistake there. Hard to follow in some of these conditions as they spread out so quickly.
Gibson is so far out there that you just lose touch with him because he is checked out. He's 11.2 seconds in front of Bolsina already.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's like, okay, now he can just settle down, do his thing. Look at that, bike's nice and clean. Looks like he just rolled up.
He's riding with confidence, and a lot of riders have a hard time. They struggle mentally riding with confidence in this stuff, and their form and stuff breaks down, and they end up sitting on the seat a lot. Just things fall apart. He is looking absolutely perfect on the machine right now.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice I ever had heard someone give about riding in the mud is like, look, just forget about getting in bed. Have fun. Go out there, have a good time. Try to keep a good positive attitude. You're going to ride better if you feel like you're having a good time. And looks like it's a good time for the 723 of Landon Gibson on that gas.
Well, he just cranked a 2.26 lap time there, so getting around really nicely on the gas. Expect the track to continue to get faster and faster these next few motos.
All right, Getz continues to work. Now he's going to worry about the 17 of Hargrove, as Hargrove is closed right up on the 22 of Getz. So Getz was trying to work on second. Now he's going to defend against the rider trying to take third away.
Yeah, instead of being on the offensive, now Getz is having to run on the defensive. And didn't take long for rider in fourth place Hargrove to get up on the back wheel of Getz and get his goggles completely plastered. Had to back off a little bit, remount, reload. Oh, it's a 317 of Mortberg with the roll-off, flapping the breeze behind him.
Roll-off situation there.
Thank you, Kevin Kozad, for coming up and spending time with us this morning. Bless you, friend.
Yeah, and of course, big shout out to Don Thornton, the amazing rendition of the national anthem. That's something I look forward to every year coming down to Freestone. He is absolutely a legend here.
The number 87 machine come by. He is completely plastered. Gets pulling a tear off. This is the real deal, Don Collings. This is when you visualize motocross old school. They were covered, decked out in mud. We are there today. This is the real deal.
Yeah, you got to get it done in any condition. We're seeing these riders raise to the occasion here.
Landon Gibson still out front. He's got a 15.9 second margin. He's 16 seconds ahead of Bolsina.
Yeah, and all he needs to worry about right now is just keeping it up on two wheels. Don't make any mistakes that are going to take that win away.
And keep spraying the roost and get his face. It's 2 seconds behind him. Here comes Bolsina, Gibson through the 12-pack. Wow. Impressive stuff, man. The kid just kept it on the throttle stop. He just had a situation there that was a pucker factor of an 11 on a scale of 10 for me. He just kept it on the throttle stop, Don.
And just brought it down to a 2:22 lap time. So he's running the same lap times in the mud that they were running yesterday in that perfect dry weather.
Second gap from Bolsina up to Gibson. I mean, just watch Gibson doing what he's doing out there. He's absolutely putting on a mud clinic. And, man, we need to get some video of this and sell it to people because he's putting on a clinic.
So we'll have that posted up on YouTube. How to Ride Mud by JS7
Gibson. Incredible stuff here going on race number 22, Division 2, Super Mini 2, 13 to 16. That's a lot of twos.
A lot of twos.
Wait for Jonathan Getz to come through on the 22, so he can just fit right into all the deuces.
There you go. Looking at the 314 of Bolsena there as he makes his way through. Coming to the Dunlop drop, and you can see exactly how this track is starting to form up now. As we watch the 723 now, Landon Gibson going to make his way to that ski jump and head down to the big loop 270. Again, bike nice and clean, gears off. Going to be able to just roll that over to the pit, put it up on the stand, and say, all right, leave it for the next moto.
Yep. Well, he's making his way back there through loop 270. Pulling away continuously with Bolsena turning to 229 last lap. Jonathan Getz turning to 228. Let's look back a little farther down the hill here. In 15th, 16th, we got Mortberg in 15th. Mortberg was the one that had the goggle streamer. And Mortberg's dropping right now. He must have had to pull over and fix those goggles. Probably what he did.
Yeah, because the problem with that, too, is that little streamer can get tangled up in the bike.
Yeah.
So you come to a stop, that thing flops into your back tire. That's a dangerous situation.
Well, he's steady dropping, so something's going on with Mortberg. He's out of a transfer position. We got Cole Martin back there in that final transfer. In the number 16 spot, top 16 will be transferring on.
Yep. Going by the halfway point as Gibson comes around over the finish line there on the 723. A 2:24 lap time that time, so continues to go fast in the slippery conditions here.
Back her off just a couple of seconds there, just kind of got her in control. Now he's going to have to start sorting through back markers. Probably already has made it through a few, but he's going to get a little dirt on his bike just from back markers.
Yeah, that'll be a quick passage through, though. And it looks like finally the 22 Getz able to get around Bolsena. So Jonathan Getz will move up to second. Bolsena will drop to third.
Watching Gibson making his way through the back markers there, changing his lines up and running those lines, just absolutely pushing through the lines that he hasn't even been running. Incredible stuff. A little farther back in the field here, we got a free bike battle coming over the finish line. Look like the 55, 86, and the 910. Those guys really closely matched for speed, throwing blows out there on the racetrack, having a big time in the mud.
Yeah, and those battles are going to tighten up here as we get down to the wire because we're past the halfway point. Next time around, we might be looking at the white flag, so time is starting to run out for riders that are trying to work through the field. The 99 Turner now charging up into 7, so it's Landon Gibson, Jonathan Getz, Kane Bolsena, Braden Johnson, Cannon Hargrove, your top 5, Downey Ruse, Lachlan Turner, Oliver Kemp, Cody Wells, and Aiden Handren through the top 10. Then it's Brody Ballou, Nick Stefanik, Sawyer Treadwell, Cash Peterson, Cameron Bradley, and right now Cole Martin, the 27 Husqvarna with the final transfer ticket.
Well, Logan Wartburg was up there mixing it up. You know, that front pack early on, he's back there in 20th now, so he definitely had a bit of a hiccup out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Shout out to the number 99 Lachlan Turner out there, the young lady running in 7th spot. Frustrating some of the boys out there, I can promise you today.
Well, fast is fast. That's all there is to it. So no matter what you got under the helmet, my friends, if you can go fast, you're going to get a good top 10 result. Turner getting that done out there. It is indeed white flag in hand as we wait for Landon Gibson. Here he is at the end of the 12-pack.
He finally got blood on his front number plate. The back markers have been abusing him.
Well, you know, that's part of the game, unfortunately. Again, he'll be pretty. You can have that moto win as a way to assuage your feelings about that mud.
Well, even with that mud on his front number plate, as of right now, our last lap through, he had a 27.4 second margin on second place. So Jonathan Getz 30 seconds behind race leader. So
Gibson's in another zip code right now.
Yeah, well, if you look at Gibson on the bike, he's doing everything right. I mean, he's just standing up. He stays on the pegs. He's absolutely beautiful on the 723 machine. Landon Gibson, again, 28.7 seconds right now ahead of Jonathan Getz in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Gibson coming to the Dunlop drop. Watch him work back towards us into the shock sock S turn.
Race number 22, Division 2, winding down here, white flag out, waiting for Landon Gibson to make his way back through here. Take a checker flag, his next pass. Where is Gibby at on the track?
He's working the loop 270 right now.
Okay, so he is just about a quarter lap away from making his way through here, taking a checker flag. So race number 23 on the gate, 24 in staging.
So there is your leader working the bottom of that Bud Moore throttle section. Landon Gibson in the 723 gas ride. Going to make his way up to the top of Cemetery Hill here as we watch him pop up over the top and into the FMF Powerwall. One more trip through the 12-pack loop. He's on his way to the checkered flag.
Well, and again, he's just absolutely put on a clinic. Just looks just like butter going through the Texas 12-pack. And it's tough to look like butter going through a 12-pack that has butter on it, but he just did it on the 723 machine. Landon Gibson taking a checker flag.
There you go, the gas rider with the win.
Impressive performance from the 723. Landon Gibson, Jonathan Getz still back there in the number 2 spot. He is 28 seconds back last time through, and Kane Balacina was just about 8 seconds behind him there last time through. Looking back at the bubble, we'll keep an eye on that. Martin and Worrell. Martin in 16th. Worrell just out of transfer there. So hopefully Worrell and Martin come battling through here. But it looks like everybody's pretty well gapped out. When you look at the leaderboard here, looks like the rest of the race is pretty well, barring a mechanical or a mistake, pretty well foregone.
Yep, going to be tough to overcome those big gaps in these conditions with the short amount of time left.
All right, attention to the pits. Hey, pro riders, we need you guys to start making your way up to the staging area right now. Richard.
Yeah, Open A Pro Sport, boys. It's time to wake it up and shake it up and get into staging.
I am freakishly excited to watch the Open A Pro Sport out here mixing it up in the mud. But
well, you know, I gotta say, Luke, take a look around most of this course now, and I'm really not seeing a lot of mud on the track.
Yeah, it's
a little wet. Gonna have some nice deep lines, but I don't see any mud really to speak of on the track.
No, it's legitimately juicy. And, you know, for a lot of riders, this is a condition they really want. So, we've got racing.
50cc riders. It is
out front. The 141 machine in the number 2 spot.
So it looks like the 141 ride into third. That's Yamina Burning. Followed by the 72 of Jet Rao. So underway here in the 50cc 6 to 7 limited. Once again, Open A Pro Sport riders, you need to head down to staging. We're going to get ready to set you up for your 10 a.m. moto.
Well, cool stuff. My little buddy Jet Rao out there running in third when they came off the line there. Cool little tidbit about the Rao family. Jet Rao, his mom and dad all qualified for Loretta's a couple years ago. So son, mom, and dad all qualified, went and raced Loretta's.
So what you're saying is they are never going to retire.
Not a chance, no.
All right, here's the 710 coming back into the inside, heading towards jump stand number 6. And it looks like 31 of Calvin Rogers making a move up into the second spot. So Tarnow out in front and running away with it early on. That good start really paying off.
Jet Rao still on the number 2 spot.
So So it's a 31 of Talon Rogers into the second spot, 72 Jet Rao in third. Burning in the fourth spot.
Yeah. So Tate Brush was up there in the number 3 spot, had a bit of a hiccup there in the Shock Sox S-turn, gave up a whole bunch of position in real estate, back up on the bike and rolling now.
And we're looking at the 710 of Shannon Tarnow charging down the more throttle section.
Look at him carrying that front wheel through the more throttle. About the time you said more throttle, he did it.
That's it. That's the spot, baby.
Yep.
Ooh, getting a little drag out
there.
That's all right. Shannon's got plenty of room.
He does. That's for sure.
That's the thing. That's the beauty of that good start. It'll let you make those little mistakes. Look at this 31. Popping into view there. So Talon Rogers says, hey, this ain't over yet, man.
Yeah. Well, Tarnow charging hard up over the FMF Powerwall into the Texas 12-pack. Here comes the 710 machine trying to find some lines there. And
see the feet getting blown off the pegs already. But you know what? You notice in that shot there, he came over the power wall and didn't launch it. Instead, he just kind of dropped in a little G out there. That's a smart move on these 50s because they launch into that soft stuff.
Yeah,
they can get going.
Yeah, right.
So Shannon Tarnow is being chased by the 31 of Talon Rogers.
And Jet Rao coming across there in third.
Yep. So there is the 72. There's the 149, or 141 rather. You mean a Burning still running in fourth. So Shannon Tarnow, Talon Rogers, Jet Rao, you mean a Burning, and Cameron Buckman. That's your top 5 right now in the 50cc 6 to 7.
Hey, Don Collins just about a lead start to brew here. Tarnow out front, but
Rogers is really right in.
Like it's really starting to heat up. They get through some back markers. Oh, no.
And that's that soft spot there on the outside. You saw the other 2 bikes that were there earlier that got stuck in that. Very quickly, the 31 is going to get going, but that's going to give Tarnow a little breathing room now.
Well, the 31 machine come around the Leonard Skinner Oak Tree, looked up the racetrack, and there was a rider stuck in the mud. He didn't want to go behind Tarnow because he didn't want to be in the same line. There was a rider stuck in the mud, so he tried to avoid that rider, and he got off into the deep stuff.
You know what? I think Tarnow might have got a little slowed down in the Dunlop drop because he didn't really get away too much from the 31 of Rogers. You see Rogers now in the S-turn.
Oh, you're right.
So it took Tarnow a little time to get out of the Dunlop drop. As you can see, if you look out there right now, Luke, there's riders down in that turn too.
Yeah, and now we're going to start looking at back markers. It's going to get pretty confusing just trying to see on the racetrack who's who. Fortunately, we got the leaderboard here.
Thank you, E-Score.
Out front, when they came through last time through, they had a 3.6 second margin back to Rogers from Tarnow, then 8.4 back to Jet Rao.
Yeah, don't forget, folks, if you want to follow along on the live timing, you can go to escoremx.com, pull up the live timing there. If you're not able to get the live stream to work, if you're here at Freestone, sometimes that internet not quite enough to get that going, but you can get on to escoremx.com and just get the live timing if you want to do that. And, of course, big thanks to the folks from eScoreMX to provide the transponders here for the event. It really is amazing how much better it is to be able to follow the action with these transponders. So Shannon Tarnow, Talon Rogers, Jet Rao, Yamina Burning, and Cameron Buckman still top 5. Tate Brush, Patrick Castro, Levi Meyer, Brayton Moore, and Elijah Taggart through the top 10 here in the 6 to 7 limited 50cc class.
So how cool is it for Brayton Moore to get to go through the Bud Moore throttle section? Dad's new section there. Pretty cool stuff. I know Shan said that he talked to Bud about it yesterday, and Bud was really excited that got it named finally. And again, Bud Moore, the family just had a tornado come through last week and didn't level the house, but it trashed the house pretty proper. And so Bud out here trying to work and help make up a little cash. Kids out here racing, family having a blast. Oh, the 31 machine almost goes down here, swapping back and forth.
And Rogers is going to make the pass. Tarnow having some trouble on that lap. So Talon Rogers reels in the 710 of Shannon Tarnow and makes the pass.
Wow. So just like that, man, it's topsy-turvy. It's still got Rao in the number 3 spot. And then it looks like a potential back marker. I don't see that. Oh, maybe that was Taggart, maybe.
But yeah, you know, it looked like Tarnow was having a little struggle here and there with getting the momentum going, and Rogers just able to track him down. So the 31 taking the lead.
Well, it's crazy because Tarnow off the gate, man, took off, checked out, thought he was going to lap the field the way it was looking early on there. We've seen one little bubble back there. And then after that little bobble thing, just kind of, and you've said it before, that it just kind of breeds itself. You know, the mind starts getting nervous and shaky, and maybe
well,
that's
you know what they say, Luke, if you don't want to fall, the last thing you want to do is think, don't fall, don't fall.
Right.
Because immediately you will talk yourself into doing that.
Right.
And right now, the 31, Talon Rogers taking advantage. And coming out of the Oak Tree turn, out front, this is that soft section. You see Rogers is getting through there right now. He's a little bit quicker through that section this time.
Man, he is flying down through that section right now. Impressive.
Yeah, and it is deep out there right now. Oh, Ryder down on the downside of number 5. Oh, and down. That was the 31 Rogers who went down over jump number 5. Sort of on the downside there, and it looks like he's stuck, not able to get up onto the bike. So Tarnow back out front as the 31 is stuck there on jump stand number 5. So tough break there for the 31 of Talon Rogers was out front, came over the top of number 5 and just lost the front end. And it looked like he was kind of stuck with his leg under the bike. Another rider came over, banged into him. So Shannon Tarnow, the 710, going to take the lead back. And we'll have to see... We'll have to see who else might have got caught up in that. So we're going to wait for the transponders to refresh when they get over the finish line so we can see what the running order is. But we know the 710 was able to get through cleanly, and he is working through the traffic right now, working on the 29. Oh, and then he goes down.
Oh, no.
Woo, this is a race of attrition, Luke.
Yeah, Tarnow down again. He took that number 1 spot away when Rogers had a little bit of a hiccup over there.
Got it back up, got going.
I don't think he lost any positions there.
No, I don't think so either, Luke. We don't know for sure.
It's hard to tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Can't see the number plates anymore.
He's coming back up the hill, so Tarnow's going to make his way to the finish line.
Britt Lambert down here with a white flag in hand thinking, I don't know who I'm supposed to give it to.
Yeah, he'll be coming. There's the 710 on his way. So Tarnow over the top of the FMF Powerwall.
Into the Texas 12-pack. He's about halfway through the 12-pack with a white flag in hand from Britt Lambert. I'm guaranteeing you Tarnow's ready for some white flag action.
And there he is. So the white flag out for the 710 of Shannon Tarnow.
Turns a 327 that time, 336 that time through.
And it looks like Jet Rao on the 72 going to move to second. And Rao's not too far back of Tarnow.
Well, he's really not now, just minus 5 seconds. So
all it's going to take is one of those little tip overs, and Rao might be your leader. So
consistency, man. Sometimes that's the key word is consistency. A lot of times that's the one that gets you right on the finish line. And that was, oh my goodness, a 31 machine again. Talon Rogers has contact with the back marker going up the face of the finish line. And Rogers down, but look at that little fella. Just back up on the gas again like nothing happened.
I think that might have been Bernie who he had contact with.
Was it?
Very close. Yeah, Talon Rogers was able to catch back up to Yamina Burning and was trying to get around. I think that they bumped at the top of the finish there. Burning was able to keep going on 141, so Rogers is going to drop down to 4th.
Talon Rogers, one of those riders before before he had even fully crashed, he was back. His feet were already churning to get back to the dirt bike. Yeah, misconsistency, a minute of burning. And that number 4 spot moved up into the number 3 spot there where they had the contact coming up over the finish line here.
So there is Tarnow, the 710, coming to the Shock Success turn.
So a lot of ups and downs this moto, but back out front, Shannon Tarnow with quite a bit of breathing room. Jet Rao actually 5.5 seconds back when they came through last time through. It looks like Rao may have dropped off. I'm not seeing Rao. He was 5 seconds behind the race leader.
This is impossible to keep track of. Really.
Okay, here's Rao. He's like 30 seconds back now, so he's had some sort of hiccup himself. But it looks like he's still in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, and some of these riders, like, there's the problem. You're seeing that on the screen here for the live stream. They get tip over, but the problem is the bike will stick in the dirt, and they get their leg under it, can't pick the bike up.
They just get stuck there, and they fight and wiggle and squirm, and then finally we'll have a rescue ranger come. And
yeah, and that's like quicksand, boy. The more you struggle, the harder it is to get out.
In. Well, nonetheless, Tarnow out front with just about a quarter of a lap to go now, making his way. Looks like, what is that? Is that the Budmore throttle section?
That is indeed.
Oh, contact there.
Look out. Hang on to it, Tarnow.
There's bikes everywhere. Look at this.
And hey, don't forget Open A Pro Sport. You should be in staging right now. Open A Pro Sport. You should be in staging right now.
Look at that little 50cc machine belching steam out of there. It's working hard just trying to make the lap.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, these 50 parents, there's a clutch change in your future.
Immediately following this moto. And have a nice day.
All right, here comes Tarnow. One final trip through the Texas 12 pack. And going to make his way to the turn and the checkered flag. And there it is, the 710 Shannon Tarnow going to take the win.
Fun stuff.
Probably going to be very relieved to see that checkered flag.
I think you're right, Don Collins. I think he's pretty giddy. How many lead changes did we have? I think it was
like 12. Seemed like every lap somebody was out front and then fell. Yeah. So let's see what the top 5 is going to look like here. We know Tarnow able to make it through. Looks like that's going to be the 70. Oh, Rao goes out before the finish.
No.
Able to get right back up. And the 72 is going to get over the finish for second.
We got a multi-bike pile up on the finish line.
And it looks like Berning did hold on to that third spot. I think she got across the line ahead of Rogers. Yeah, Yamina Berning going to get third. Talon Rogers fourth. And it's going to be the 93 of Sathoff going to round out your top 5 as they stacked up on the finish there.
Well, the 391 machine, I was watching Brody Jones. As soon as he went down, he immediately started looking back up track to see if somebody was coming to hit him. It's pretty cool he had the wherewithal at this age to know, hey, man, I better be watching my cues. Yeah. Britt Lambert out there was able to get them scooped up rather quickly and got them on their way. Track is clear, and we are ready for these last few 50cc riders to make their way off the racetrack, and we're fixing to go some pro action. Oh, it is 65. You're right. 65s. Some of these are Pro Class 65 riders. There is Moore coming off the racetrack. Brayton Moore. Shout out to my buddy Brian Jackson out there, founder of Vertical Joint Motocross Ministries. Much love to you, brother. So Shannon Tarnow, Jet Rao, Yamina Berning, Talon Rogers, Tate Brush, Cameron Buckman, Patrick Pastoral, Elijah Taggart, Brayton Moore in 9th, Levi Meyer in 10th, Cruz Peterson, Dante Santagati, Dominic Steele, Jeffrey Seethoff, Brody Jones, Edwin Meyer, Cooper Stockton, Carter Rinneker, Cade Wood. In 20th, Bodie Roberts. In 21st, Noah Winter. And we had a bunch of unknown racers there, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, I was happened to catch Brian on social media a little while ago. He's picking up the torch from Doug DeMocos, watching him wheelie that whole track there on the arena cross track. So it's a really cool show that Brian puts on. Always good to see those folks getting a chance to check out what the Vertical Adrenaline Ministries rider does there. So and I know he brings a lot more to the track than just the tricks. So cool to see Brian a part of those events.
Yeah, he's just a genuinely good guy. I mean, he just makes you happy to be around him. And we've been friends for a lot of years. And he turned the ministry over to me, I don't know, 15 years ago, I guess. Rider down, 50cc rider down there on the exit of the Shocks S-turn, that rider. Back up on the feet, picks that bike up. The bike goes too far, falls over the other way. That bike belches steam out.
Bad to worse there.
Chris Hill.
Going to let the rest of these riders finish out their lap here before we turn them loose with the 65, 10, 11. Again, Open A Pro Sport riders, you should be down in the staging area, as we're going to get ready to line you up for the first of the Open A Pro Sport motos today. The 250A Pro Sport will go at 1 o'clock, so pro riders are going to get a couple of shots at the track here.
Wow, Don, 37 entries on the gate right now. Just looking down there and looking at how full that gate is, I thought, well, that's not going to be a qualifier, so these are just,
that's it, straight up moto.
Yep.
So a little bit of blue sky showing through here, starting to get things a little bit lightened up at Freestone, but again, hats off to the Freestone track crew here for doing a great job sealing this track up last night and bringing it back to life this morning. As you know, we're only a couple of motos in, 3 or 4 motos in, and this track really coming around, shaping up to be a good course of the day. And I know the pros are going to get out there and dig some new lines in, and it'll be really good to see. But yeah, 65, 10, 11, going to come off the gate next.
Well, you talked about it, you know, that we were watching Lachlan Turner, and she made some line choices the other day. Said that comes with time. That comes with time on the track and experience.
Yep.
Well, the track crew, it's the same thing. They know this dirt. They know the way the hills catch water here. They know how to do things here to make things where we can have what we had last night, which is an absolute hurricane. It was crazy amounts of water. Monsoon came through. And they had this thing sealed off and ready, and here we are, 50cc machines already racing this morning, turning really good lap times.
Absolutely great work by the track crew for sure. So 65, 10, 11 going to come off the gate next. Looking down the list,
I hear RPMs. Shan Garcia over there, got the binos up, he's ready to rock and roll. He crushed it on those 50cc machines a while ago. Those little number plates, I don't know how he did it.
Teeny. All right, the revs come up on the 65, the CC machines on the gate. So getting ready to see the two cars go up here for the 65, 10, 11.
Well, Don just visiting with the dad of the young man that went down yesterday on the Cowie that obviously went to sleep. Obviously went to sleep. We were all very concerned. At the end of the day, it looks like a concussion and a broken collarbone, which is pretty small.
Yeah, we'll take that anytime. You know, as long as you're walking and talking,
well, he's just coming off a broken back.
You're saying that, so that's a tough way to go. All right, here we go. Two cars is around to the side. The 65, 10, 11 charging up the start straight. On the 24, Eden Steinbrecher with the whole shot. So Steinbrecher with the whole shot. Looks like he's in the second on the 31. And then it looks like So watching your leaders work out of the twist and shout section. Steinbrecher on the 24, Easton Graves on the 31, battling out front. And it looks like Jackson Vick now moving up to third. And Royce Matson, 30, going to run in the fourth spot.
Really impressed with the speed these youngsters are carrying out here right now. Race leader coming into the shock S-turn.
Yeah, that's the 31. Easton Graves moving out front.
Brody Bircher back there, that number 5 spot. Looks like Waylon Ballinger in 6th right out of Cairo, Georgia. Our front few riders are just checking out on the field. Man, I love this drone footage we get to keep seeing, that everybody's seeing out there that's looking at this stuff on the Area 51 Films, Outlaw Productions TV on YouTube there. That's absolutely beautiful.
The picturesque Miller Family Ranch here, the home of Freestone County Raceway, down here in beautiful Wortham, Texas.
Well, kind of like the riders, Don. I mean, I know we're having a blast, but we get to announce this race right now. How cool is that? Here we are.
Yeah. I fly out here every year because there is nothing cooler than watching this Freestone County Raceway. Bring it to all of the riders' attention. I always tell everyone back in New England, you got to get out here for this race.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got to drive just for this race. Get out here because this track is amazing.
Well, meanwhile, coming through the S-turn here, the VMAC switchback at the finish line, the 31 machine coming across out front.
Yeah, so Easton Graves with the lead. There's the 70 of Jackson Vick in second. Steinbrecher on the 24 going to drop back to third after an early lead.
6.26-second gap between Graves and Vick. 3.5 back to Steinbrecher in third.
And it's a not insurmountable gap. We've seen people come around, especially in these conditions, where if you can make a mistake very easily. The 30 coming around in fourth. That's Brody Bircher.
Then the pack. There is the pack coming through. Looks like a peloton of peddlers coming through there, nose to tail coming through in a gaggle.
So Easton Graves, Jackson Vick, Eden Steinbrecher, Brody Bircher, Race Matson, the top 5, Austin Keller, Waylon Ballinger, Brayton Craiglow, Chance Olberg, and Chase Brennan through the top 10. And then we're looking at Craven Earl, Aiden McKitty, Dylan Wiles, Landon Lee, and Dax Wiles through the top 15. So, again, this is a moto. This is not a qualifier, so your position in this one going to be points towards that overall.
Hey, keep an eye on that rider in that number 2 spot, Jackson Vick. Looks like he's making headway on the leader, Easton Graves, and been working with Matt Cleveland for quite some time now, and it looks like it's paying off. The number 70 machine looking like a rock star out here in these conditions. Matt Cleveland, Magic Matt Cleveland, we're told, and obviously Magic Matt knows how to tell him how to get it done because he's doing it right now, and he's reeling in Easton Graves out front. That is Jackson Vick on the number 70 KTM. Got Easton Graves on the 31 KTM in his sights.
Yeah, going to head down to that big Loop 270 sweeper as you watch the 31 air out that ski jump, and he is definitely closing in. That's going to be the battle for the lead as we watch the big sweeping turn there. There is your leader. And very shortly, Jackson Vick going to pop into frame here. There he is, coming around the turn.
Yeah, he's cut it in half at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was 6.2 seconds last time they came through here, and I'm thinking we're going to be in the 2s at this rate. And then they've got back markers to deal with really soon. We've got back markers rolling through the 12-pack right now. They're going to be catching those this next lap through, and that number 31 number plate's going to start getting greasy.
One thing I notice on a lot of these bikes, like to see those hand guards in these conditions. Those hand guards will save your hands from getting pelted with a little bit of the rocks and roost and things that get dug up when the track's a little wet. So highly encourage those hand guards out there.
Well, even here in Texas, it gets cold, and those help just cut the wind, if nothing else, at times. You know, there's a lot of positive there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we run them back in New England, because it does. Some of that breeze, it just kind of gets cut off so your hands don't get freezing. And here's another little trick for you. You're talking about the latex gloves on the outside.
Yeah, on the
Wear
inside.
them on the inside. Your hands will stay a lot warmer in this cold weather. But
yeah, it's huge.
Not a problem with the cold down here this year. Last year, we definitely had
Is
a
it not
little
beautiful?
cool weather.
This weather has been absolutely perfect.
Cannot complain about it. Of course, I can't complain about it because I don't have to wash motorcycles, but then again.
Okay, so that gap
Still.
had reduced only by about a second. I thought it was going to reduce more, but Jackson Vick, rider in the number 2 spot, turning the fastest lap time of the moto thus far, turning a 2:41.539. Easton Graves doing a 2:43 out front, so Vick definitely reeling him in. Steinbrecher 8 seconds back, clicking off a 2:46. And then here comes the peloton.
Boy, Luke, looking at that section after the oak tree turn, there is a very soft outside line that you kind of get pulled into coming out of the outside of that oak tree turn. Boy, and riders are struggling with that section.
We watched that rider in the 50 class a while ago get out there. He was trying to avoid a rider in the middle of the track, went over there, and the bike just stopped.
Yeah, it'll just, like I say, when it starts to dry out, that's when it'll reach up and grab you.
The 31 of Easton Graves coming up over jump number 6 there, went a little wide, trying to avoid a back marker there, and basically just slid down the jump face sideways. He landed kind of squared up and just slid down the jump face sideways. What a save.
Got to stay on that gas, get that back tire to straighten you out. And he's closing up. Jackson Vick is closing on Easton Graves.
Absolutely catching him.
So
Back
here we
markers.
go. There you see them. They are really close now. You know, last time through this section, you just saw Vic kind of pop into the back of the frame. Right now, he is going to be right in the picture.
That being said, Easton Graves carrying a lot of speed through that Loop 270 section. He is hauling the mail there. Look at Vic, just pounding it into that berm.
Yeah. Coming after him, going to come to the top of the hill, head to the Bud Moore throttle section.
Oh, it's on, Don. Look at this. He's right there. He's going to slip underneath. He's going to take it away from him. Jackson Vick takes the place away from Easton Graves.
Yeah, Graves kind of got stuck in that outside line. I don't think he really wanted to go there, but once you're in that rut, he couldn't get out of it, and Vic took advantage. That's some heads-up racing.
It is. Magic Matt doing a dance right now, saying, let's do the voodoo, and it worked. Jackson Vick takes over that number 1 spot. Anxious to see his lap time when he comes through here. He had the fastest lap of the race last lap. Of course, they've been contending with back markers this lap. They got somebody down in front of them there.
Yeah, it's going to get tricky. Oh, Vic almost not able to change his line. They're both going to go down.
This is crazy. Vic gets back up a little quicker and back up on top of the bike, and here comes Vic across. Vic may not get scored there. He missed the E-score.
I think he might have got through.
Yeah,
he got through
I think it read him.
So Vic and Graves 1 and 2, and boy, they both come together in that turn. Both of them are running right back to the bike, jumping up and getting going again. So they're about the same gap away from each other as they were before they went down.
So up next, we'll be looking at 250A Pro Sport. Excuse me, Open A Pro Sport. Up next, right after this 65cc race. So they're on the line down there ready to rip. That section that Don Collins was talking about over there, we've got riders down on both sides of the track. It's just a soft spot. You come out of that Leonard Skinner Oak Tree right-hander, there's another rider down. They just get in the mush there. And
Look at this, Luke. Look at this. Jackson Vick and Easton Graves just about side by side out of the Oak Tree turn into the Dunlop drop.
In that section we were just talking about, they just negotiated through there.
Yeah, they both had to kind of pick through there carefully because there's a couple riders in that outside. But, man, this is a tight battle coming up into the Shock Sox S turn.
Wow. Watching the 31 Easton Graves coming into that right-hander, the Shock Sox S turn, waiting that outside peg. Look at him. He's doing it again. That right foot just keeps blowing off, and he's keeping his weight on that left peg. They go around a down rider there. And Vic is already up there. I thought that lapper was Vic there. So Vic looks like he's about 2.5 seconds up.
Yeah, he picked up a little time there coming out of that Kawasaki step-up. Looked like Graves got a little bit hung up in the turn coming up to the step-up. So half a second but the half a second is what's going to probably be the difference.
Yep, they add up quickly. By Shan Garcia's math, he was doing like a tenth of a second, like, and there was 30 corners here, and that's like 17 seconds at the end of the lap. He's a math musician, he says.
I will trust Shan for a lot of things, but not math. Not math. Nope. Math and science, not really his strong point.
He's beating up that Mr. Goodbar back there behind me, grinning. Got big brown chocolate on his teeth, saying, I'm a math musician.
All right, so here is the battle for the lead going to come up into the FMF Powerwall. There's the 70 of Jackson Vick. Now, let's see if they negotiate this S-turn a little more successfully this time as him and Graves. No, he goes down.
Oh, my goodness.
Graves will go by. That 12-pack taketh away.
Well, these last two motos have been like this. That 50 race we watched a while ago, they were back and forth crashing, swapping it out, giving it up.
So white flag is out to 31 of Easton Graves, taking the lead. There's Vic back up and running in second. He's going to lose some time, though, and that might be enough to give Graves the win.
That's a pretty good bit of real estate right now between Graves and Vic. Looks like 5.4 seconds. And that's a pretty good buffer that can let Graves get up there and not worry too much about trying to ride defensive, but he can ride his own race now if he has the mental capacity to go there.
Well, he's still got to negotiate this challenging course, though.
And a bunch of back markers, possibly.
I think we can safely say that there's been no way to predict what's going to happen on this track.
Yeah, for sure. So far, the motos have been very unpredictable. That's the one thing that is predictable is the lack of predictability of it. We got a rider sideways down here in the left-hander before the Kawasaki step up.
Yeah, it is definitely getting to be a challenging course. All right, looks like the battle for lead going to come to the Oak Tree turn.
So where is Graves? That's Vic coming through. So Graves, he's already at the bottom of the hill down there? Is that him coming up over number 5 right now? Up over there?
The 70 of Jackson Vick working to the Dunlop drop. The 31 of Graves coming into the Shock Sox S turn.
So a really good margin there for Graves to work with. Jackson Vick charging hard here.
And Graves going by the mechanics area. I could see his mechanic yelling at him, and I'm pretty sure he was yelling, "Don't fall." That's the only advice you need to give him right now. Well, you see him reaching up there to clear the vision with a roll-off. And there it is. The 31 Easton Graves going to make his way down to the ski jump.
He's looking back over his shoulder twice there. Gave him the
Where
double take.
is he? Where is he?
Yeah, very distinct looking back over his shoulder. Where is the Vic monster?
So coming through that big loop 270, there is the 31 of Easton Graves.
You know, you talked about pulling that tear off or the roll off there a minute ago, and that's an art in its own right. In these conditions, being able to take that hand off the bar and go through that process efficiently and effectively and not rip your goggles off your helmet, which that's what I was. I was a bull in a china shop. Even something so simple is an art that these kids have to work on. Oh, no.
Whoa, Graves having to switch up lines for the lap traffic there. He's going to have to be very careful picking his way through the 12-pack here. Final time through. And the 31 Easton Graves comes into the Texas 12-pack.
Well, each of the riders have given up the lead in the 12-pack like 11 times today so far. Looks like he's going to get her done, Don Collings.
There you go. Going to make his way through. That is the checkered flag and the race win for Easton Graves.
What an emotional roller coaster for Easton Graves. I mean, what's going on in his helmet right now?
I'm sure his parents were having an emotional roller coaster ride as well. There's the 70 of Jackson Vick. Solid performance in second. Looking for Waylon Ballinger on the 89 Gas to hang on to third.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up, our Open A Pro Sport class. 41 entries, full gate. They'll be taking a sight lap. We want to say hello to all our online viewers on the Area 51 Freestone YouTube channel, brought to you by Outlaw Productions TV. Remember to call your friends, call your families that couldn't come to Wortham, Texas at Freestone Raceway to tune in and watch it live.
JP, we're going to get our first moto results here from yesterday's Open A Pro Sport class.
Yeah, moto number 1 on the 3-moto format.
What a crazy race that Luke Navarre and Don Collings just called. Easton Graves, Jackson Vick just putting on a fantastic moto. Mistakes being made, passes being made, back and forth. Just absolutely incredible.
Yep, it was like the Keystone Cops. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. No, I'll move over there in just a second.
So we are taking a look at the start gate here for moto number 2 of the Open A Pro Sport. They're going to get a sight lap.
It's going to be really cool to see what the lap times are for this pro class. And they're going to develop some lines and some ruts to set the precedence for the rest of the day.
Right now the track is kind of single line. It will. Okay, thank you, Don. Right now the track is kind of single line. Nobody's going to play follow the leader because they're going to burn through tear-offs, JP. So we're about to open this track up here and get multiple lines going for a 20-minute plus one-lap moto.
There's one line in the middle, and then you go the outside or inside, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think like on the ragged edge right there where the grass is. It gets some root traction.
So we're taking a look here at the Open A Pro Sport. Open A Pro Sport, second moto sight lap underway here. JP Parsons, the mouth of the South, getting up here on the microphone.
It's good to be back, man.
Let's
Let's twist the throttle. Let's have some action going out here for the James Stewart 13th Annual Spring Championship, brought to you by Parts Unlimited, Thor, and Rocky Mountain ATV.
Yeah, JP, we're about to see some live action here. If you're just tuning in here to Freestone's YouTube channel, some great coverage here by Outlaw Productions TV, Area 51 Films, bringing the coverage here to Freestone MX's YouTube channel. A great bird's eye view here coming off the FMF Powerwall into the Texas 12-pack whoops section. That is the view you're seeing here. We got a monumental amount of rain last night, so we're on about an hour rain delay this morning, and we are set for a 10 a.m. Open Pro Sports second moto. These riders are currently on their sight lap. Check out Kevin Kelly out there in the infield, breakdancing.
He's still busting a move. So, yeah, for all you YouTube viewers, make sure and hit that like and subscribe button.
Mark Finnis joins us, the 105, Matias Pavas. The 110, Jet Reynolds will be the 124. Mitchell Zaremba out of Ohio, the 183. Jarrett Finch, the 220. Avery Long joins us, the 263. Kyle DeRoach, the 270. Crockett Myers, the 1, will be bike number 411 on the Yamaha and the Kawasaki. Nolan Dickinson, the 424. Cameron DeRoe joins us out of Peters Martinsburg on the KTM, the 458. Adam Miller will be the 509. Mikey Durden with the 511. Ty Freehell, JP, joins us. He'll be the 517. Dustin Jensen, the 580. Logan Montgomery, the 521.
You know, and then we got the number 5, Miles Cooper out of Modesto, California, out of KTM.
Parker Ross, number 12, out of Harold, California.
On the 21 Yamaha, out of Key Largo, Florida, Shane Hamilton.
It's going to be Lux Turner, the 21, out of Gardenville, Nevada, on the KTM.
On the 25 Yamaha, out of Stokesdale, North Carolina, Trevin Nelson.
On the Gas out of Twin Falls, Idaho, Casey Clinton joins us, the 26.
And on the 28 KTM, out of Winchester, California. And what a ride at the Futures Supercross riders at Dallas Supercross, Preston Boslug.
Out of Vancouver, Washington, aboard the Honda, Kyle Epperson, the 34.
On the 34-hour, out of Telford, Pennsylvania, Yamaha, Bryce Shelley.
Also aboard a Yamaha out of Morgantown, North Carolina, Daxton Binnick, bike number 41.
On the 44 Yamaha out of Lake County, British Columbia, is Zach
Uzemeth.
Usman. Thank you.
On the Kawasaki to Simi Valley, California, Slade Varola, bike number 45.
On the 54-hour out of Dubuque, Illinois, out of KTM, Leo Tucker.
On the Honda out of Idaho, it's going to be Ben Blakely, bike number 54.
On the 55 Yamaha out of Modesto, California, Dylan Kuna.
On a KTM out of Rapid City, South Dakota, Blake Broderick, bike number 60.
On the 64 out of Minnedosa, out of
Manitoba.
Ryder McNabb.
On the Honda out of Hudson, Colorado, Jackson Pascal, the 74.
On the 88 Yamaha out of Danville, Virginia, Hamden Hudson.
On the Kawasaki out of Louisville, Texas, it's Zach Conover, the 613.
On the 712 Kawasaki out of Canyon Country, California, Blake Garner.
Aboard the Yamaha out of Riverside, California, Dayton Briggs, the 734.
On the 768 out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, Suzuki mounted Cole Shondek.
On a Yamaha out of Lago Vista, Texas, Brandon Mason, the 943.
And rounded out our 41 entries for this Open A Pro Sport is the 988 out of Delaware, Ohio, Husqvarna mounted Gavin Mays.
JP, you mentioned Cole Shondek, the 31-year-old. He is definitely the elder statesman, and yesterday in Moto number 1, he started in 3rd place. He finished outside the top 20. He finished... But, JP, as I was saying yesterday, Cole Shondek, the veteran, 31 years old, started the first moto in 3rd position. He worked his way on back past the 20th position spot, but an excellent start for Shondek. So let's see if that veteran can put that Suzuki back up front in the opening couple of laps. It was, of course, Daxton Bennett in first yesterday, the 41 on the Yamaha. 2nd position was, looks like, Preston Baseflug. 3rd place went to Mark Finnis, the 105 on the gas yesterday in the first moto. So it looks like it's going to be Binnick, Baseflug, and Mark Finnis in the driver's seat here for the championship run. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd position yesterday afternoon at 1 p.m. So we are just moments away, seconds away actually, from the gate drop here.
So also the Open A or the Pro Sport 250 will be at 1 p.m.
And if there has been ever a time in motocross to get a good start, it is right now after last night's monumental amount of rain.
They are out of the gate down into turn 1. And it's the Ryder McNabb, your leader, with the whole shot. And the 110 of Matthias Pavez out of Chile, South America.
Followed by Parker Ross. Parker Ross now has moved up into the driver's seat here as your front runners make their way through the twist and shout section of the track here. It's Parker Ross, number 12, out of Harold, California on the Honda.
I tell you what, man, we've watched him for years, and he is definitely faster than I've ever seen him out here at Freestone Raceway.
Ross, JP, needs to stay exactly where he's at. He finished Moto 1 yesterday back in 5th. So if he wants a shot at the championship, he's got to win this moto.
But you know he's not going to settle for 3rd. He's going to go for the gusto. And here comes your leaders down through the Dunlop drop. It's the 110 out of Chile, South America, gas rider Matthias Pavez.
Yeah, good to see the Kawasaki of Jet Reynolds up towards the 5th or 6th position. The lone Kawasaki rider in the top 10. We'll see if Jet Reynolds can put together a solid moto here for the 2nd moto, the Open A Pro Sport class. It is the 12 right now, up and over the Kawasaki step-up of Parker Ross out of Harold, California, leaving the contingent here as he drops down off the Loop 270 into Loop 270 of the Valley of Love, the Suzuki Sweeper. And Don Collins letting me know Binnick is in around 10th position. yesterday's first moto winner. So Daxton Bennick has to be on the charge, and there's no doubt he will be as he sorts himself out. Probably going to have to grab a handful of tear-offs here early on. It is Parker Ross up and out of Team Cramp Corner over Cemetery Hill and into the FMF Powerwall.
Into that famous Texas 12-pack. That'll approach the VMAX switchback. And that green flag is out. All systems go. Open A Pro Sport Moto number 2.
With McNabb there in second, the 64. Ryder McNabb aboard the KTM. A solid second-place ride. And is this Shondek, the veteran, in third again?
Yep,
the 768, the 31-year-old Shondek in third again for a great start. Doing it for Kenny Roxon and the rest of the old guys.
Avery Long in the fourth. Mark Finnis fifth. Jet Reynolds sixth. Lux Turner 7th. Matthias Pavez back to 8th. Daxton Bennick in 9th. Bryce Shelley in 10th.
So Daxton Bennick back there in 9th position, your first moto winner. He has to make some passes here. It's going to be extremely challenging and hard. Don Collings, Luke Navarre, J.P. Parsons calling the action up here.
And Chan, it looks like right now Parker Ross in fine form, pulling away from second place of Ryder McNabb as they go through the Dunlop drop. They'll make that left-hand sweeper, roll over 5, and then roll over 6 into the shock success turn.
Could be a little strategy by Ryder McNabb. Stay a little bit away from Parker Ross to save your vision for a late moto charge. You don't want to sit up there and just take a beating from Parker Ross's roost and burn through goggles, tear-offs, and have vision problems when you're just now early in the moto. You let everybody else dogfight back behind second place and burn through their tear-offs, JP. So probably a little bit of strategy here for Ryder McNabb just to hang about 4 seconds off of Parker Ross's pace. Let everybody else grenade and bomb through the mud. Avery Long and Mark Finnis now moving up to 3rd and 4th, respectively, here, getting around Cole Shondek. And Jet Reynolds should be on the move as well. Thank you, Don Collings, for a little. It's better to have a couple extra eyes up here, especially with the mud on the number plates. Looks like Daxton Bennick just went by about 3 people, so we had him in 9th last lap. He's probably up there around 6th or 7th position. And I have a feeling, JP, we're going to see Daxton Bennick climb that ladder, get up into the 3rd or 4th or possibly 2nd position by the time this one's over with Parker Ross, the 12. Clean number plates aboard that Honda. Ryder McNabb patiently sitting back there in 2nd, keeping out of the roost, and those 2 frontrunners, JP, have completely disappeared.
So Finnis in 3rd, Avery Long in 4th on the Yamaha, and Bennick 5th, Jet Reynolds 6th.
So Reynolds sliding up the ladder as well as Bennick moves up to 5th position. Bennick going to have his scope set on Avery Long. Parker Ross with the fastest lap time of 2 minute 11 second, JP, on lap number 2, and that clean vision with Ryder McNabb. And you've got about a 13.5 second gap, JP, back to Finnis, Long, Bennick and company. Jet Reynolds, Turner, Pavez, Shondek slides back to 9th. Cameron Dureau in 10th. Trevin Nelson up in 11th position. Dayton Briggs in 12th. Slade Verota 13th, Crockett Myers up to 14th, and it's Blake Gardner, the 712 on the Kawasaki, up there in 15th position here on lap number 3, JP. Check out Ryder McNabb heading down the Freestone Freeway. JP, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Is he kind of checking up just to keep out of the roost of Parker Ross?
Well, I think he's too. No, he should be a lot closer than that. Because I tell you what, Parker Ross is not going to slow down. He's going to go as fast as he can to get away from anybody, the rest of the pack.
That sprint mode.
And then set his pace. And Ryder McNabb better crank it up a little bit so he can keep him in sight to maybe make a pass. But Parker Ross, like yesterday, won his moto, is looking really, really good today. Very, very strong.
Parker Ross just dive bombing through the Bud Moore throttle section around the Team Cramp corner, up and over Cemetery Hill. And he is basically racing himself at this point and the track. He's not really worried about anybody else. McNabb is a handful of seconds behind Parker Ross. So McNabb in 2nd. Finnis Yeah, and check this out. Your top three riders, J.P. Parsons, Don Collins, pointing something out. Parker Ross, Finnis, and Daxton Bennett, your top three tied with 6 points for the championship run here. So Ross has to stay where he is because he's the one comes in with a handicap of a 5th in Moto 1. Thank you, Don Collins. Yeah, he's got your abacus out.
So Parker Ross, Ryder McNabb, Mark Finnis, Avery Long, Daxton Bennett, top 5. Jet Reynolds in 6th.
Zaremba just outside your top 20. Baseflug back there in 20th. And it was Baseflug finishing 2nd yesterday. So Baseflug not having a good moto. JP Baseflug finished 2nd yesterday. He's back in 20th position. So theoretically, he is going to be out of the championship points run unless something majorly drastic happens for Baseflug. And it is Parker Ross just absolutely destroying this Freestone County Raceway, exiting the Shock Sox S-turn into Baggett's berm.
And it looks like Ryder McNabb's mechanic in the mechanics area is pounding the pit board meeting, pound the track, pound the bike.
I like Ryder McNabb's position right now. Just hold back there in 2nd position. He got a 14th in Moto 1. So finish up in 2nd with clear vision. 14th in Moto 1. Finish up in 2nd position. Salvage the best points you can. Don't throw the moto away. Be consistent as you can after a 14th in Moto 1. That would be my strategery planning, Don.
You know, with such a great mix-up, there's been nobody being dominant at this point. You know, Parker Ross with a 5-1, Mark Finnis with a 3-3 currently, and Dax Bennett with a 1-5.
So Lux Turner on this past lap was in 7th position. It looks like he is falling over. A few riders get past him, probably Nelson, Duro, possibly Briggs. Slade Varola just outside your top 10 in 11th position. And it's the Texan Crockett Myers, the 411, back there in 12th position, JP. The 105, Mark Finnis looking solid, as does Avery Long, the 263.
But Avery Long's got company with that number 241.
Yeah, if Daxton Bennett can make a pass up into 4th, that would give him 5 points. So Daxton Bennett, the man on the move, needs to make another pass or two. If he gets around, that'll secure him with 5 points going into Moto number 3. He will be in the championship driver's seat here for the championship run, J.P. Parsons. We were just about 10 minutes into this moto, nearly 9 to 10 minutes in. We're going to get the halfway mark here in just a few moments, J.P. Parsons. But Parker Ross exiting the Shock Sox S-turn. And I'm going to tell you right now, Luke, Don, J.P., I'm calling it. Ryder McNabb is not riding the wheels off the bike with intensity like he's trying to catch first place. He comes into this in 14th position, so he knows mathematically he's down. He needs to just salvage as many points as he can, stay in 2nd place. Don't throw a race away trying to catch first. When you're in a solid 2nd place, you got clear vision. Nobody's behind you. You got an 18-second lead on 3rd place. That's my game plan, JP. Okay, so Lux, who was up there in 7th position, drops about 9 positions.
Yeah, so it looks like Dax Bennett is up to 3rd. 4th, so 4th, making his way through the pack.
Yep, that's Dax Bennett. Daxton Bennett getting around Avery Long, JP. That gives him 5 points. So now, mathematically, Bennett salvaging his championship points run, moving up to 4th. And I guarantee you, he's probably not done. We're going to start getting up into some lappers before we know it, and that's really going to throw a little kink in the chain, J.P. Parsons.
Well, this is where they have to be. Line selection is crucial.
Yeah, Don Collins telling me the leaders are into the lappers now. It knew it was a matter of time, and that's the mud. That's the big factor here is the mud. We're not even to the halfway mark, and this is going to get – we're going to be relying on E-score really heavily.
So, hey, check this out. Ryder McNabb, 3.32 seconds behind Parker Ross. He's making up time. Mark Finnis way back from about 17 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what I said earlier, JP. McNabb maybe just checking up for that first half of a race, saving his vision for the second half of the race to maybe possibly make a charge. But yeah, being told Parker Ross he's 4 seconds slower than his fastest lap. Yeah, you're right, Don Collins. So that's the lappers and the mud coming into play here. The lappers are one thing, but now you're dictated on which line choice you can have because there's only a couple of fast hot lines throughout the track, at least for these first 6 laps in this Open A Pro Sport class here. Great shot on the Freestone YouTube channel of Parker Ross. Look, check him out. He's having to make his way around lappers here as he goes up and over the Kawasaki step up, and McNabb slowly closing in. So I think McNabb was using what I called, Luke. McNabb going to save that first half of the race to save his vision and close in a little bit in the second half of the race, but don't throw anything away. Yeah, plus the back markers coming into play. Great aerial shot here from the crew at Area 51 Films. And the Open Pro Sport riders have opened up this track. Now there's about 6 or 7 different deep ruts and lines throughout, which before there was only 2 hot lines throughout the track because of the monumental amount of rain we received last night. And McNabb definitely back there in second, slightly closing in on Parker Ross.
Parker Ross as he heads into the Texas 12-pack. Ryder McNabb right behind him as he go through the VMAX switchback. And he looks over his shoulder to see where McNabb is. He knows he's back there. He's closing in on him. And we are at the halfway point of Open A Pro Sport.
And you've got to go about 20 seconds back for Finis. Mark Finis, the 105 on the gas. Daxton Bennick, the 41 on the Yamaha.
So Ryder McNabb closing the gap to a 2.6.
Finis having a or Daxton Bennick and Finis having a blow by 3 lappers just in this James Stewart ski jump, J.P. Parsons. And we're at the halfway mark, and these guys are already having to really be extra careful on their line choice and selection, J.P. Crockett Myers there in about 10th position. Briggs in 9th, Durow 8th, Nelson in 7th. Just outside your top 10, it's Varola in 11th, Hudson in 12th, Blake Gardner back in 13th position, Bryce Shelley in 14th, and Baseflug has now made his way up to 15th. So Baseflug just doing everything he can with a second yesterday, 15th right now. He's just trying to hover inside that top 10 in the championship points fund, and I got to think that Baseflug will come back, JP, and moto number 3, he has to win a moto.
Oh, he's not through. So it looks like right now Dax Bennett is closing in on the 105 gas rider, Mark Finis.
So Bennett, as JP alluded to, with the help of Don Collins, closing in on Mark Finis as they launch off the number 8 ski jump into the Loop 270, the Valley of Love, the Suzuki Sweeper.
But we got our leader right here on the screen, the number 12 of Parker Ross.
Bennett was only 3.7 seconds behind Finis a lap ago, Don. They're closing in, and Parker Ross having issues.
Hey, Ryder McNabb right next to him. No, actually.
Go back. Parker Ross, it looks like he is having some major issues here. I'm looking at his tires. Parker Ross, unbelievable. Not going to be able to be a factor here in the second moto.
So our new leader is Ryder McNabb.
So this is effectively going to take Parker Ross out of the hunt because he is just literally rolling along the track here. So Ryder McNabb back into first place, but McNabb, keep this in mind, McNabb 14th in moto number 1, so he only has 15 points. So he has to come out in the third moto and win the third moto if he wants to get up inside, possibly inside even the top 5 on the overall run. JP, that 14th place really is hurting Ryder McNabb, but he's doing the best he can to just at least put an exclamation point here on this second moto. And Daxton Bennick and Mark Finis have just went by Parker Ross, JP, so unfortunate circumstance for Parker Ross with a fifth in Moto 1. He's effectively going to be taken out of this mathematical equation here in the second moto, and I'm wondering what has happened to Parker Ross's Honda. I looked at both tires. It didn't look like there was an issue with flat, but when he came off the FMF Powerwall, he just pretty much checked up and rolled through the Texas 12-pack, JP. So
I tell you what, man, it's what a tough situation for him. He put on such a good ride, putting out 110% effort.
yeah, he has started out up front in most of his motos, and with a best finish yesterday of fifth. Okay, so Finnis and Bennick together down in the Suzuki Sweeper Loop 270. I want to thank Don Collings for helping us out with the mud on the number plates. It's just gotten really crazy. They've made their way up into lappers. Most of these riders have taken their goggles off.
Great shot here of Dax Bennett as he was heading towards Cemetery Hill into the FMF Powerwall and the Texas 12-pack.
Here comes Ryder McNabb up and over the finish line tabletop. He is just smooth and consistent here. It's McNabb on lap number 9, about a 12-second lead here on Finnis. There is the 105 Mark Finnis, a solid second-place ride. Bennick has slid off the pace. He's about 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 4 seconds behind Finnis. Bennick actually about 9 seconds behind Finnis, so now it's a matter of trying to be patient, save your goggles, save your tear-offs, get through the lappers as smooth as you can. We've got probably about 5 more minutes roughly before this second moto of the Open A Pro Sport comes to a close. But how about McNabb, Finnis, and Bennick all climbing their way up into that top 3? Heartfelt moto here for Parker Ross, JP.
Yep, all running 214s, and then Jet Reynolds on a 220. He moves up into 4th place. Parker Ross, mechanical difficulties as he drops down in positions.
Ryder McNabb taking the outside line through the Shock Sox S-turn. I like that choice right now. Partially doing so because the lapper took the inside line, so he's just trying to save vision here. But McNabb having to navigate his way around a very difficult and challenging, rutted, somewhat muddy track.
So there's Dax Bennett going down the Freestone Freeway into the Blake Baggett berm. He'll let that number 7 Kawasaki step up.
Yeah, McNabb is keeping everybody in check here. He takes a look over his shoulder.
Yeah, McNabb with a almost 15-second lead over Mark Finnis. Finnis in 2nd, Bennick 3rd, Jet Reynolds in the 4th slot, and then Trevin Nelson in 5th.
This is really, really, really going to shake up the points race here. Daxton Bennick with 1-3. He has 4 points. And 1 point off of Mark Finnis, JP, with 3-2 moto scores for 5 points. And then you've got a pair of 12s, Shelley and Baseflug. Bryce Shelley consistently there running a 4th with an 8th yesterday. Or 4th place yesterday and 8th right now with 12 points. He would secure 3rd. So this is really going to shake it up for tomorrow once you throw Parker Ross back in the mix, Ryder McNabb back in the mix, and Baseflug back in the mix. As Don Collins says, somebody, JP, tomorrow will be the spoiler tomorrow for the 3rd moto. There's the 241. He's having to pull his gear up. Yeah.
Hey, that kind of reminds me of 1988 at Good Time Cycle Park in San Antonio, where JoJo Keller was on a 125, and he was a big boy. Every lap, his pants would get a little bit further down. You could see more of his cheeks. We were taking bets.
Yeah, JoJo's a big boy.
Then I heard somebody told me he does that on purpose just to freak out the other riders.
Freak him out behind him.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. It is McNabb, Finnis, Bennick, Reynolds moves up to 4th. Our Kawasaki ace, Jet Reynolds, has moved up to 4th on the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Team Green Kawasaki backed effort. So good to see him land inside that top 5 position now. Just outside your top 5. Go ahead, JP.
No, Jet Reynolds, another success story. You know, we started watching him on 50s and 65s and 85s, and, you know, it's been a joy and glad he's out there in the mix and up into 4th.
Duro in 6th, Hudson 7th, Bryce Shelley 8th. It's Slade Verola in 9th. Preston Baseflug has made his way up to 10th after a 19th place start. So climbing that ladder, yeah, doing his work.
And normally he gets a little bit better start than 18th.
Yeah, and he's in 4th overall here, so he's doing what he can to try to get up in there. He's got to come out tomorrow and finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd to get up into that 3rd position here on the championship points run. Just outside your top 10, it's Crockett Myers in 11th, Blake Gardner 12th, Parker Ross slides on back to 13th, Leo Tucker 14th, Zaremba 15th, Lux Turner 16th, Mateus Pavez in 17th, Cole Shondek, the veteran who started out 3rd, the 31-year-old, in 18th place, Dayton Briggs 19th, and it's Jarrett Finch rounding out your top 20 here on lap number 10.
I'll tell you what, these moto scores are off the chart. They're up and down, kind of like my heart rate was and blood pressure about 2.5 weeks ago.
That's right. 2 weeks ago, JP was in ICU, and now he's here at a thorn in our side at Freestone.
That's right. Get used to the abuse and have a nice day.
That's right. I like where Bryce Shelley sits here. He's got a 4.8 moto scores. That's just kind of consistently inside the top 10. Mark Finnis with a 3.2, 5 points. And, of course, Bennick, 1.3 for 4 points. He is in the driver's seat here, the 41 on the Yamaha. Hey, attention to the pits down here below the Stasic Tower. You need to remove the pit bikes out of the cattle guard crossing, out of the gate crossing. Do not park your pit bikes at the...
That needs to be an open lane just in case the medical team needs to get through the tunnel. Guys, come on. Please do the right thing. There's plenty of places to park your pit bikes. If you don't move them, we can have them moved for you, and have a nice day.
Yeah, Parker Ross still rolling around here in 20th position, so that's what a great start will get you. He can have some kind of an issue out on the track, rolls around, and still trying to collect any kind of salvaging points. Trevin Nelson, number 25, going down here in the VMAX switchback just before the Stasic Tower finish line tabletop, and gets remounted. And Britt Lambert has the stopwatch down there. He's waiting for that 20-minute mark.
So still our leader out front, the 64, KTM rider Ryder McNabb with a 2:14 lap time. And then second place, Mark Finnis on the gas. He's about 13 seconds back, followed by Dax Bennett in third, Jet Reynolds fourth, Trevin Nelson, not sure exactly where he is. And then Cameron Duro, Bryce Shelley, Preston Boosflug up into eighth, Crockett Myers and Slade Verola top 10.
So, JP, check this out. Baseflug has now put himself up into third position in the championship points run. He currently sits eighth, but he's got some smoke, big-time smoke, coming out of the machine, out of that KTM. So we're going to see white flag is waving. We're going to see if that KTM and Baseflug can get to that checkered flag and salvage this great ride he has put in.
Well, hopefully that KTM motor will last one more lap, and then they can regroup and get him ready for Moto 3, which will be coming up tomorrow.
Baseflug started back in 19th or 20th position and has worked his way up to 8th. Shondek up and over the white flag at finish line tabletop, our veteran, 31 years old. A solid 18th place ride for the 31-year-old. Nope, and he will be a factor this weekend when we introduce the vet motos. So McNabb in the driver's seat here. Ryder McNabb, JP's got about a 12-second gap over Finnis.
Well, as my buddy Shan Garcia would say, hey, he should take the win for unforeseen crazy circumstance.
Yeah, barring any unforeseen crazy circumstance. Here's McNabb, the 64.
He's got to keep it up on two wheels, and he'll be the deal.
What a fantastic ride by McNabb. That's a lot to deal with. He kept his distance from Parker Ross halfway through the moto. Ross's anchor came out for whatever reason we don't know. McNabb has clear vision at that point to work his way through the lapped riders with all the mud and chaos going on. And a smart ride by Ryder McNabb, not putting a lot of pressure on Parker Ross there the first 10 minutes of the moto. Did not need to. He's in the hunt for a decent overall. And remember, McNabb got 14th in Moto 1, so right now he's sitting in that top 5 position, Don and JP. So if he comes out tomorrow and wins a Moto or two, he can get up in that third-place championship run.
So Ryder McNabb just went by Parker Ross, and man, what a horrible feeling and sad situation for Parker Ross. Is getting a great start.
Here comes your Moto winner just in about 3 seconds. It is Ryder McNabb through the FMF VMAX switchback up and over the finish line. Checkered flag waves, a fist pump, a double fist pump for Ryder McNabb. What a fantastic moto here for McNabb. He checked up, did not put a lot of pressure on Parker Ross. He kept that distance, Lute, keep that vision clean. Parker Ross's anchor came out. All of a sudden, Ryder McNabb finds himself in the lead with clear vision, trying to manipulate his way through lap riders. He got a 5th in Moto, or 14th in Moto 1, so he knew he had to stay upright, just ride a smart, consistent moto. He just won the second moto. That puts him up into the 5th place championship points run. So we're going to see Finnis and Bennick come through second and third. And we should be seeing the 124 on the Kawasaki of Jet Reynolds.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, our 258 Pro Sport will be at 1 p.m. today.
But check this out. Jet Reynolds, a solid 4th place run, but 45, 46 seconds back from 3rd position. And that tells you just how challenging this moto was for these riders. When you got Jet Reynolds, the Jet, out there 45, 46 seconds off the pace here. But a fantastic showing for the Kawasaki, the 124, as he takes the checkered flag and makes his way into the impound area. It is McNabb, Finnis, Bennick, Reynolds, probably Trevin Nelson, Bryce Shelley, and Cameron Durow. We're going to send this down to the podium where we'll have McNabb, Finnis, and Bennick visit with our own Dean Diaz.
All right, coming up on the line is going to be race 24, R65cc, 10 to 11.
Yeah, Don, we got a couple of minutes before our top 3 hit the podium. What do you think, Don, the Parker Ross story here? That's incredible.
I got to say, it looked like there's something blue on the bike, and smart rider to just roll around, get whatever points you can get. So he's kind of kept himself at least a little bit alive for the overall, but man, that's a heartbreaker to see somebody who's got an obvious lead, obviously had the speed to win, and the bike just let him down. So hate to see that. Looks like Preston Baselou going to fade back to 10th on that last lap there, so that's going to drop him down in the overall picture just a little bit. But so it's going to be Bennick, Finnis, Shelley, your top 3 overall as they run right now. We still got one more moto to run for these folks, but Baselou 4th, Crockett Myers 7-7 to get himself top 5, so he's keeping those hopes alive as well.
And we're talking about Parker Ross a second ago, Don, a 5 and a 24 for 29 points. So the best he can do is come out tomorrow and get 1st, 2nd, or 3rd and hope to leave Freestone with a top 10 in this Open A Pro Sport class during the 3rd moto tomorrow. So unreal. Dean Diaz going to take it down on the podium with our guys here on Freestone's YouTube channel interviewing. So being told Bryce Shelley made the pass on Trevin Nelson just at the finish line. That puts Bryce Shelley up in a 3rd place with 4-5 moto scores. So a lot of that's consistent right there, but it's not top tier consistent.
That's what we love about the 3 moto format.
Yep.
Anything can happen, and
usually,
it often does.
And it usually does. That 3rd moto offers the hand grenade or the fresh baked apple pie.
Or the handshake.
With a handshake.
But yeah, we're going to have the 65, 10, 11 riders off the gate next. 65, 10, 11 riders going to come off the gate next. So my mistake there, I was listening to JP. That was my mistake. Schoolboy 2 Division 1 is actually going to be next off the gate here. So Schoolboy 2 Division 1 is next off the gate. Loose for a sight lap first. So sight lap here for the riders in the Schoolboy 2 Division number 1.
So you want to give them the rundown?
Let's do it, JP. Coming out to this one on the number 15, the KTM from Spicewood, Texas, is Trace Holland.
Out of Oak Lawn, Illinois, on the Kawasaki number 27, Christian Janik.
The 29 KTM out of Bellingham, Washington, is JJ Concannon.
Out of Wasalla, Alaska, on the gas number 37, Leonard Pepper.
The 41 from Rescue, California, that's the Honda ride of Nate Freehill.
Out of Tabor, Iowa, on the Yamaha number 43, Jackson Driscoll.
The 45 Yamaha out of Montgomery, Texas, that's Hayes Edwards.
On the 47R, by the way, Hesperia, California, out of Kawasaki, Aiden Kiefer.
Coming to us from Granite Falls, Washington, that's going to be the 51 Yamaha Jaden Searles.
On the 51R Husqvarna out of St. George, Utah, it's Jackson Glatter.
Gavin Betts rides the 72 KTM coming out of Clifton Park, New York.
On the 73 KTM out of Riverton, Utah, Jace Allred.
From Orting, Washington, the 84 KTM is Wyatt Creighton.
On the 92 Yamaha out of Wilsonville, Alabama, Landon Hartz.
The 95 Honda from Colorado Springs, Colorado is Jace Hinrich.
On the 96 KTM out of Patterson, California, Brock Archuleta.
Out of Kennendale, Texas, the 156 KTM is Cade Miller.
On the 176 Yamaha out of Dade City, Florida, William Jordan.
The 196 Cutter Cross comes out of Crum, Texas on a Yamaha.
On the 188 KTM out of Kingman, Arizona, Cade Bradley.
The 300 Kawasaki from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Drew Adams.
On the 515 Yamaha out of Round Rock, Texas, Spencer Weldon.
The 623 from White House, Texas, that's the Husqvarna rider Hayden Crimes.
On the 721 out of Wimbledon, North Dakota, Yamaha mounted Jameson Muchler.
And rounding out the field on the gate for this one out of Lehi, Utah, the 926 KTM, Everett Clark. That is the riders that are going to be coming out to do battle here in Schoolboy 2 Division number 1. We'll have another division of Schoolboy riders coming out after that. And hopefully you folks made your way over to the Gas KTM pit area to grab that scavenger hunt list.
Yeah, the scavenger hunts are always fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, they find a lot of cool places to hide stuff. I mean, let's face it, JP, you got a whole lot of places on this property.
There is space.
Yep, you got no shortage of that.
Actually, about 1,200 acres.
And,
The
yeah,
night track, most people don't know this, is 1 mile from here, the national track, to the night track, which has 37 light towers. The best lit, one of the best lit night tracks in the nation, in the world.
well lit up for sure.
Of course, compliments to Miller Electric.
Yeah, that's definitely a big job there. So, and I also want to send a shout out of thanks to folks from South of the Border MX sponsoring the live timing and scoring. So South of the Border MX sponsoring the live timing and scoring here this week for the Freestone James Stewart Freestone Spring Championship presented by Parts Unlimited and Thor, part of the American Motocross Championships. Love to have that live timing and scoring there. So thanks to SOBMX.
And make sure make your way over to HyperX. She has a lot of hoodies. She's got flannel shirts. So get on over there. She got windbreakers. Go over to see Stacy over at HyperX in Performance Alley, right next to MX Tires West.
And I believe they're doing the jersey numbers and letters here as
They
well.
can print everything. They can print on your underwear if you want it.
I don't think we want that, but okay.
I don't know. I think Dak Spinnick might need some help on that.
Might have been able to use some of that, yeah, as he had what we would call a wardrobe malfunction.
Or maybe some suspenders.
There you go. But yeah, there's a lot of folks here. Yeah, and again, you can get all kinds of stuff done over in the vendors area there. Like we were saying, HyperX here to do that jersey lettering and numbering, as well as all kinds of apparel over there. So we've got plenty of folks here. Do you want to go Vit out there in the vendors row? All right, looks like we got them lined back up in the gate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, race 25, Schoolboy 2, 12 to 17, division number 1, 25 entries. Division 2 in staging, Schoolboy 2.
So got them fired up on the gate. We're going to send it down to the 2 card here for the Schoolboy 2, Division number 1. All right, here we go, off the gate. So it's Casey Cochran with the early lead. Looks like Janik into the 2nd spot.
So
all right, looks like we've got a couple riders battling in that 2nd position here, looking for your leaders to make their way through the twist and shout. There is the 66 of Cochran coming down the hill. It looks like Landon Peppard on a 37, charging up into the 4th spot.
So here comes your leader down towards the Dunlop drop on the 66 Rockstar Husqvarna. It's CC rider Casey Cochran. And followed by Team Green Monster Energies, number 27, out of Oak Lawn, Illinois, Kristen Janik.
So there it is, the battle for the lead. Colin Allen on the 35 makes the move into that 3rd spot. And it is the 37 of ball running in 3rd.
We'll just rely on the fine folks at eScore to give us the real times and deal and numbers.
All right, now charging through that big loop 270, the left-hand sweeper down there, Casey Cochran trying to hold off the 27 of Christian Janik. Leader's going to come back up the hill here. We'll watch him for him over the top of Cemetery Hill in just a moment. There's Casey Cochran. There's Christian Janik. Over the FMF power wall. Oh, Janik gets offline.
Gets sideways in the Texas 12-pack, but quick recovery, but still out front through the James Stewart ski jump is Rockstar Energy rider Casey Cochran.
Yeah, that was a heck of a save there, JP. He reeled that bike back under him.
Yes, it was.
Well, you know, that's a testament to the strength training, all the off-the-bike work that they do, because he was able to just grab that back under him.
Yep. So here we got Casey Cochran down front, Christian Janik in 2nd. In 3rd place, Colin Allen on the Yamaha, Trace Holland in 4th place on the KTM. In 5th place, a KTM rider, Hayden Bone. Hayes Edwards riding for TTMX in the 6th slot. Dylan Blecka in 7th in the Yamaha. 8th place is Diesel Thomas on the 524 KTM. And 9th place is the Honda rider, Ryder Huffman. It's the W. It's spelled with the
It's a
W
silent
also.
W
So
will
it's a
get you
little
every time.
hesitation. And 10th right now is KTM rider Gavin Betts.
So Cochran making his way into the Shock Sox S-turn, trying to get away from Janik. And they are trying to separate out. Looks like they are getting away from Colin Allen just a little bit. Gap was 2.8 last time over the finish, and it's stretched out quite a bit there. Trace Holland continues to run in the 4th spot. Looks like Hayes Edwards getting around Bone to take over 5th.
Yeah, I heard Hayes Edwards, if he doesn't start picking the right lines, that he's going to have to be cleaning toilets for a while.
Yikes. I don't know how I feel about that.
Ask RC. That was part of his early training.
So looking for your leaders to make their way up out of that lower Loop 270 section as we watch the battles going on all throughout the field here.
And I tell you what, great coverage by the Area 51 Films. Bring it live streaming coverage on Outlaw Production TV or for the Freestone channel on YouTube.
Yep, so there's the 66 of Cochran. Oh. And that was Janik.
Once again, Janik having a problem through the Texas 12-pack. on the previous lap and on this lap, so he'll drop back into third, trying to regain his composure. Colin Allen, the Cookie Monster, number 35, moves up into the second slot.
Yeah, and it looks like Holland's going to get him too.
Into third, Janik in fourth. Hey. .511, Dylan Blecka. So 92 of Landon Hart's out there on a two-stroke. But Cochran in command through the Dunlop drop. He rolls over 5 into 6. He's got about a 12 to 15 second lead over Colin Allen. And it looks like Colin Allen slid down right before the Dunlop drop, so he'll drop back about 3 or 4 places, which moves up, opens the door for the number 15, a Trace Holland.
Yeah, Holland's going to move to second as he got around Janik, too.
So, yeah, we named him Trace Holland.
So easy to make mistakes at this point during the day. Again, the track working in, but that sort of thicker line, this is where it gets a little tricky because it'll just reach up and grab that tire. Looking for Cochran on the 66 to pop his way up over the top of Cemetery Hill. And there's the Husqvarna rider. So into the FMF Powerwall, and let's take a run through the Texas 12-pack here, looking over the shoulder of Casey Cochran.
Making
You're watching
it look
live.
easy. Great coverage by Area 51. So cool. Technology at its finest.
There it is, putting another lap in the books out front. Absolutely focused forward.
And of course, Casey Cochran, no stranger to Freestone racing we had here. Shannon and I announced him when he was on 50s, 65s, 85s, and bam, here we are. Schoolboy 2.
You know, JP, I think I actually called his first race on a 50.
Did you?
Out in Illinois.
Very cool.
In Dubuque, Illinois. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I called his first race on a 50. Me and Kevin Kelly got the first look at this young man, and he has definitely come a long way right to the front of the pack. So Casey Cochran, Trace Holland, Christian Janik, Colin Allen, and Dylan Blecka, top 5 here. Diesel Thomas, Landon Hart's running 6th and 7th. Looks like it's going to be Ryder Huffman dropping down. Kay Johnson gets around him to take over the 8th spot. So the 177 moves to 8th. Huffman is 9th. And Gavin Betts going to round out the top 10.
So Casey Cochran, your leader, through the shock success turn. He'll head down that Freestone Freeway and make that 90-degree left-hand turn, which we call Blake Baggett's berm, then hit the number 7 Kawasaki step-up.
And JP, 17.8 second gap Cochran has over second place. That is a ton of time.
And that's like within 3 laps.
And hey, attention out there in the pits. Looks like we know that the Stasic race was supposed to be on last night. Unfortunately, we had to cancel that because of the weather. They are going to cancel the Stasic racing. So if you did register for that, you can come on up to the registration tower and get your entry fee back. But again, unfortunately, because of the full schedule, we're going to have to cancel the Stasic racing. We weren't able to do it last night. So if you've signed up for that, please come up to the registration tower. You can get your money back for that registration.
That's sad. One of our favorite events. I just love seeing the smiles on the 3- and 4-year-olds. All right, speaking of smiling, it's the number 66, Casey Cochran, on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna through the James Stewart ski jump. Takes that outside line over the number 1 roller.
And you know, JP, you hear for a lot of riders talk about hitting their marks lap after lap. And if you're watching Casey, he is absolutely hitting every single line right where he has been the previous laps. If something is rough, he's going outside and changing it up. So he is really a technician picking this track apart. And now Diesel Thomas trying to work on Colin Allen to get that fifth spot as Dylan Blecka moves up to fourth. Holland and Janik still battling second and third, but Casey Cochran absolutely gone out front. 20-second gap now.
He's definitely checked out, Don.
Well, and here's the thing. Look at the consistency in the lap times. Fast lap was 2:13 on lap 2. He's staying within 2 seconds of that every single time around. You know, that's going to add up to a win. Consistent fast laps.
And then Christian Janik ran a 2:17, and then Trace Holland a 2:18. But the man right now is the 66 of Casey Cochran, running 2:14s, 2:15s. Of course, his fast lap time was on lap 2 with a 2:13.9.
So Casey heading over the ski jump down into that 270-degree turn. Following him through the trees there if you're watching live on Outlaw Productions TV.
And 37, Hayden Bone lost his front number plate.
Well, it's out there somewhere.
Yep. Underneath the roughage.
So Cochran one more time to the top of Cemetery Hill, and it looks like the white flag is going to be waiting for him. No, this is a crossed flag, so we are at the halfway point. I was thinking that would have been a very quick moto. So Casey Cochran going by the halfway point here, still way out front, doing exactly what he needs to do.
And as we've decided, it's a 15-minute plus 1 lap. So giving these guys some track time and showing us what they have right here at Freestone Raceway for the 13th annual James Stewart Spring Championship, brought to you by Parts Unlimited Thor and Rocky Mountain ATV.
And it looks like Christian Janik able to make the pass on Trace Holland, so Janik will move himself up to second. So he's keeping the championship hopes alive, but he's going to have to hope for a lightning strike to catch up to Casey Cochran right now.
So Cochran once again over 6 into the shock success turn as he's starting to negotiate through traffic down the Freestone Freeway. And he hits the number 7 Kawasaki step up. Then he'll make that 120-degree turn down the number 8 downhill ski jump into loop 270, the Suzuki Sweeper. Cochran on the 66 white Husqvarna Rockstar machine.
And you know, JP, it looks like we're going to have a battle shaping up between Trace Holland and Dylan Blecka as the 511 Yamaha starting to reel in the KTM of Holland.
You know, and Trace Holland, you know, very new to this speed and this class with all these talented athletes out there, has moved up also into the B class, which this is basically a B class.
Yeah, most of your riders in this one are B-class riders.
And, of course, 12 to 17 years of age.
And here is the 66 of Cochran. So another lap in the books out front into the James Stewart ski jump.
So the running order right now is pretty much the same. Casey Cochran out front, Christian Janik second, Trace Holland third, Dylan Blecka fourth, Diesel Thomas fifth, Colin Allen sixth, Landon Hartz in seventh, Kay Johnson eighth, Gavin Betts in ninth, and Brendan Schofield in 10th.
That's going to change up as Dylan Blecka right after the finish is going after Holland. They're going to go inside, outside. Holland uses the preferred line. Blecka tries the inside, can't quite get there, so Trace Holland got his hands full trying to hold on to third. Dylan Blecka is all over him.
And Cochran out front with about a 28-second lead over Kristen Janik. Then 5 seconds for Trace Holland, but Dylan Blecka is within striking distance, which is about
Yeah, he's coming after him in the
0.339.
Dunlop drop there. You saw Blecka reaching up to clear the vision, coming over the top of that jumps number 5, and he is all over him in the Shock Sox S-turn. Cochran working the downhill there on the far side of the track, way ahead of the pack.
Yep, looks like Dylan Blecka is reeling him in. It could happen down there in loop 270. And
Yeah, he's right on him, JP.
probably depends who's going to pick the faster line, whatever that line is, which it changes probably every lap, if not every other lap.
There is your leader over the finish line again. Nice clean front number plate there. The hand guards don't have hardly any marks on them.
Hey, you know, when you're out front, it's a given.
Good spot to be, that is for sure. All right, looking for that battle between Holland and Blecka as Christian Janik is going to make his way up the hill in just a moment. And look at this. Not only is Blecka working on Holland, but he's bringing Diesel Thomas with him as those two riders have closed up on the 15. So we're going to have a 3-rider battle for that 3rd spot coming up on this lap.
Yeah, so Diesel Thomas right up there in the mix. He's only a minute back. For 1 second.
Twist and shout.
Yeah, good point there by Van Martin. On the 92 Yamaha is on a 125, currently running in 6th place. So, wow, so it can get done no matter what bike you're on. You just got to pick the right lines, twist the throttle harder than you've ever twisted.
And then look at that. Blecka to the inside. He makes the pass. So Dylan Blecka makes the pass on Holland to move to 3rd coming out of the Oak Tree turn.
Yeah, and also Kay Johnson on a 125, his new ride. He just moved up to 125s on the Blue Crew Yamaha.
Oh, Holland kind of paddling his feet there coming out of the Shock Sox S-turn. He's going to lose time to Diesel Thomas now. And here comes Casey Cochran making his way over the FMF power wall.
Well, we got a happy mama, Amy Cochran, the firecracker.
I think everybody in the Cochran pit's going to be pretty happy here with this performance today.
Yeah, so cool.
And he's going to make his way through here, working that twist and shout section. Casey Cochran still out front. Janik on the 27, holding on to the 2nd spot. But, yeah, they are almost 30 seconds back at this point.
So right there, a good view of my nickname of the twist and shout section. Give you that bird's eye view from Area 51 Films.
And it looks like Diesel Thomas gets around Blecka, so Thomas moves up to 3rd, Blecka 4th, and Holland going to drop down to 5th. So Diesel Thomas taking advantage of the moves that Dylan Blecka made to get himself up there as well.
And the
Now-
92 of Landon Hart's revving that 125 two-stroke.
So watching Cochran on the 66, he is going to be into the heavy lap traffic now. This is where it's going to get a little tricky for the 66. So Cochran heading down to the big Loop 270, the Suzuki sweeper. And Britt Lambert on the steps there with the stopwatch in hand, white flag in hand. It looks like counting down the seconds here to see if we're going to get to 15 before Casey Cochran hits the finish line. And it looks like he does. So up to the top of Cemetery Hill, there's the 66. And here we go, JP. Another run through the 12-pack for the 66 of Cochran.
And that white flag's going to be coming out, Don, for the white bike. Rockstar Energy. Casey Cochran, CC rider through the James Stewart ski jump. 1 lap remaining. White flag is out, ladies and gentlemen. Then we should be looking for the 27th, the Monster Energy Team Green, Diesel Thomas. And there's Janik over the finish line tabletop, about 30 seconds behind Casey Cochran.
Yeah, so Janik, Thomas, Blecka, and Holland still running top 5 behind Cochran. Watching the 66 negotiate his way. Working through up to the Shock Socks S-turn. So the 66 Rockstar Husqvarna ride. Casey Cochran about a quarter of a lap away from the checkered flag and the first moto win here in Schoolboy 2 Division number 1. And that is how you want to do it right there, folks. Absolutely wire to wire. From the gate drop to the checkered flag, this young man has been out front.
And we should be seeing our leader through the VMAX switchback. Hits that finish line tabletop, takes a checkered flag. A very excited CC rider, Casey Cochran. Doing a
that's
twist
a
and a
fist pump
flip.
and a half there, JP.
That was acrobatic style.
Yeah. And look at that. Bike is absolutely clean. I don't think he ever had to worry about anything on that one. So we're looking for Janik on the 27. There is the Monster Energy Team
right
Green
here,
ride.
Don. So Kristen Janik nailing down second place for the Monster Energy Team Green Kawasaki ride. And we should be looking for the 524.
Yep, there's the diesel right there.
Yep.
And it's going to be Blecka and Holland, 4th and 5th. We're underway with division number 2. Sight lap for these riders. So sight lap for division number 2 here in the Schoolboy 2.
Boy, Cade Johnson had pushed it to the limit towards the end, trying to get around Colin Allen. All right, coming up, Schoolboy 2, 12 to 17, Division 2. And And I'm not even going to do the lineup because there's just
Yeah, they have swapped around riders
Yeah,
between the two
it's
classes there,
upside
but
down.
but yeah, it's going to be Schoolboy 2 Division 2, and I expect we're going to see another pretty good moto coming off the gate here as we work through the race order here for the 2023 James Stewart Freestone Spring Championship presented by Parts Unlimited and Thor, part of the American Motocross Championships. So again, sight laps underway here for Schoolboy 2 Division 2. Don't forget, if you haven't got the list right now, you need to make sure you got over to the Gas pits. They have the Gas scavenger hunt going on today. It's not too late to get over there and get the list, so head to the Gas KTM pits. If you can find all the stuff on the scavenger hunt list, you're going to walk away with some pretty cool prizes, and they have all the information about the time limit on that over there. So get on over to the Gas KTM pits, and big thanks to those folks for sponsoring the Gas scavenger hunt. And don't forget, coming up tonight, the Tamer 100% whole shot dodgeball death match. That's right, Tamer 100% whole shot device dodgeball death match going to go on at 6:30. Always a good time to watch that dodgeball game. Get to have a little bit of fun, throw things at people that you normally can't throw things at. And of course, we'll have some live entertainment under the pavilion there. This is the J.P. Parsons Kickstart His Heart keg party down there. Make sure we keep J.P. alive and well for at least another few years. Mike Burkeen from the AMA going to be doing a little bit of music for us down there as well.
Mean
You.
Mike Burkeen.
The Mike Machine. Yeah, hey, folks, don't forget, make your way around the pits there. Get down Vendors Row. Say hi to all the vendors and sponsors that help to make this possible. Without all that support, we cannot do these big events. So make sure you make your way around the vendor area. Head down Sponsor Row. See where all the factory teams are and stuff. Check it all out. Say hi if you are sponsored by them and you normally don't get a chance to get over there in person, as it's always cool to be able to put the face to the name, get a little handshake in, get a little bit of time talking to them face to face. This is where you want to do that. And as we approach the noontime hour, get over to the food court. Cluck Moo with those delicious skewers. Got Big Hal's, Big Nasty over there. He's got that cheeseburgers, barbecue. You got the pizza folks in the house, as well as ice cream over there and all kinds of other good food. So if you're looking for something to eat, we've got you covered over in the food court. All right, here we go. Schoolboy 2 Division 2. And it's going to be all red on the 73 out front with the early lead. Looks like it's going to be the 47 ride of Aiden Kiefer into second. And Drew Adams on the 300 Kawasaki into third. All right, leaders coming out of the twist and shout section, heading into the Dunlop Expressway, the Leonard Skinner Oak Tree turn. So Allred and Kiefer 1 and 2. We saw these guys battle in another class yesterday. So expect to see some fireworks here. 37, Landon Peppered up into the third spot on the gas ride. Adams fourth. And it looks like it's going to be the 43. That is Jackson Driscoll rounding out your top 5 early on here.
Well, Don, just working on my skewer from Cluckmoo and enjoying life very much right now, but looking over here on the racetrack, and, man, I'm impressed with the shape of the racetrack right now. We got a pile of riders down here in the Shock Sox S-turn. All them guys getting back up, going to get back up on top of the machines right away.
Yeah, that little G out, that inside hump that they put in there, that's caused riders a little bit of issues throughout the race week.
Boy, it has. Race leaders making their way back through the 270 section. Should be about into the Bud Moore throttle section by now, headed towards Cemetery Hill. Looking for them to come ripping through the 12-pack here shortly.
Yeah, making the early moves here. We'll see who's going to come away with the lead.
Well, the 12-pack's been sneaking up and biting some of these riders. We're going to keep an eye on those guys. They're really over on that outside, it seems. And here they come. Still out front, Allred holding on.
Yeah, look at this, Landon Peppered. The 37 closing up on Kiefer, so we're going to have a 3-rider run, and he's bringing Drew Adams with him. So Jace Allred, Aiden Kiefer, Landon Pepper, Drew Adams, Casey Bernard running top 5. Driscoll will drop back to 6th on the 43. Nate Freehill 7th. Enzo Temmerman 8th. Reese Wheaton is 9th. And Logan Edwards rounding out the top 10.
So Allred come across here in that first lap. He was 1.2 out in front of Kiefer with Peppered 0.8 behind him. So you're right, those top 3 nose to tail when they come across the line here. Looking down there on the racetrack, and looks like Allred headed into the Leonard Skinner Oak Tree area in that right-hand turn, tight turn. And it's just 1, 2, 3 when they went into that corner right there. Really, the Drew Adams right there on the back wheel on the Kawasaki as well. So it's really a 4-bike battle breaking away for the lead here.
Yeah, it looks like Peppered getting a little hung up in the Dunlop drop. That's going to put Adams right on his rear fender.
Allred still got that orange rag hanging out of the side of the pants there, ready for just in case.
And you know what? That's a nice move to match the bike. You got an orange bike,
it is.
orange
Yeah,
cloth.
I didn't think about that, but it does.
He's a fashionista. I think the last thing he's worried about, the color of that thing he's got on his waist.
Yeah.
He's got a whole lot of other things to think about with Aiden Kiefer working on him.
Well, that little hiccup that Peppered had has kind of got those two a little bit of a breakaway now, but as they dropped down the hill over there, it looked like Peppered grabbed a fistful, decided he didn't like how far out they were getting, going to try to reel him back in here. But meanwhile, Jace Allred stretching out ever so slightly right now. He's got a second and some change out in the front. Here comes Peppered in that number 3 spot. Got his sight set on Kiefer, and it's going to be a drag race.
Trying to get the inside. He's going to have it.
Oh, no. Oh, and he's off the bike.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to kind of force the issue to get into the line and just got bumped off the pegs.
Yep.
Didn't go down, but ended up jumping off to the side there. So he's going to drop back to 4th, and that is going to open up the door for the 73 of Allred to try to get away. And here comes the 300 of Adams now.
Yeah, Peppered showing a lot of aggression there, and it kind of sneaked up and bit him.
Well, you know, you hear folks talk about it quite a bit. If you're going to try to make that pass, you got to do it somewhere where you're confident it's going to happen. And I think maybe he got a little bit overexcited there and pushed the issue earlier than he really needed to. Cost him a few seconds, didn't cost him his position.
That's true, yeah. Well, the ruts are so deep right now. Once you're in the rut, there's no getting out of it. And so it's not like he could just blow around and push through that. So once he had to stab it in there and there was a bike there, yeah, there was no saving it. It was a pretty spectacular save as it was to keep everything vertical.
Yeah, he really did a good job just jumping off and keeping the bike upright. And Drew Adams now going to work on Kiefer. So the 300 working on the second spot as Jace Allred just slowly inching away. Allred having a breakout ride here this week.
Boy, he is. On the KTM, got the 2 Cowies back there behind him, duking it out right now as they come up over number 6. It's the Cowie battle for second and third. between Kiefer and Adams, and they're going to go through the Shock Socks S-turn. They're going to come out virtually side by side. Still Kiefer out front of Adams.
Yeah, both riders picking their own line choice in that option section there.
Oh! Kiefer goes down.
And you know what? That's exactly what we saw earlier with the riders going to that outside line and just getting into that sort of softer stuff there, and it just reaches up and stops them. So now Drew Adams moves to second, Allred out front.
Yeah, Kiefer got in there, and like you said, going around that outside, it was like his weight was kind of centered, but the bike stopped, and his weight kept going, and it tipped him over to the outside. He was able to kind of keep it upright ultimately. He didn't go down completely, but he bogged it, stalled it, and had to re-get up and get going. Gave up the position at least a couple of spots. I think Peppard may have gone through. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Peppard got him. Adams got him. So that's going to put Kiefer back to fourth.
Look at how clean Allred is. Look how smooth he is back here in this section. He was coming through that section, just manualing through there as he launches up over the power wall, coming through the Texas 12-pack on the 73 KTM. Looking greasy.
Yeah, here he comes into that switchback section. Another lap in the books out front for the 73 Orange Brigade KTM ride. Adams moving to second on the 300, and Kiefer back around to take that third spot back from Landon Peppard on the gas.
Jace Allred just clicking off the race's fastest lap of the 2:14.5 on lap 3 here. So getting around this racetrack pretty quick right now.
Casey Bernard hanging on to fifth. Oh, my. Jackson Driscoll rides the front tire down the landing of the finish.
A power panic.
That looked like it was going to go back. He didn't see anything but the ground as he came over there.
And he saved it. Just panic revved out of that sucker.
Man, I will tell you right now, I thought for sure that was going to be an endo, but able to gather it up. All right, looking at the battle out front, there is the 73 of Allred in the Dunlop drop, and Drew Adams about 5 seconds off. So Allred keeps a good pace here.
You know, once again, last lap through, he turned the fastest lap of the moto. And you're right, Adams losing touch ever so slightly, but he's right there. I mean, anything can happen anytime. We've seen that. Like right now, Allred looking at a back marker, and Allred gets through there clean. Didn't look like he lost anything. Landon Peppard still back there in fourth after a bit of a hiccup earlier. Kind of running solo back there in that number 4 spot.
And this is a heat race, so you got to be top 16 to qualify. Right now, the 156 of Cade Miller has got that spot. Carson Menquist right behind him on the outside looking in. So we'll see if that's going to change up. It's Jace Allred, Drew Adams, Aiden Kiefer, Landon Peppard, Casey Bernard through the top 5. Then it's Jackson Driscoll, Enzo Temmerman, Reese Wheaton, Nate Freehill, Logan Edwards through the top 10. And again, like I said, Cade Miller with that final transfer right now. We'll see how that's going to shape up as the laps wear down.
Well, I'm pulling for Carson Manquist. His dad gave me, last month, gave me a 65-inch big screen TV, and I'm giving it away at church next week. So if you're at chapel next week at the next event that might in your future, all you got to do is show up, and that puts your name in a hopper for a 65-inch big screen TV.
All right, we're at the halfway point as you see Britt Lambert out there with the sticks crossed out on the finish line, and Landon Peppard back around into third as he gets back Kiefer.
Well, just as I was talking about Carson Manquist, he went down into that left-hander down there and both feet off the pegs and stuck that front tire into the berm over there. Just kept it rubber side down, but lost a bunch of time.
Yeah, and that's really the hard part about where we're at right now is that you just cannot get off your game at all because it'll just reach up to grab you.
Yeah, got to keep the concentration on point. Jace Allred seems to be doing a pretty fine job of that. 5.7 seconds in front of Drew Adams. Landon Peppard in that number 3 spot now. So Peppard 0.8 of a second in front of Kiefer their last time through. Looking out here on the racetrack, we'll try to find that battle between Peppard and Kiefer. It looks like Peppard has eked it out ever so slightly, maybe a couple seconds out. So right now, Allred kind of running his own race. Drew Adams back there in second, kind of doing the same thing. Everybody's just kind of settling in, it seems, right now. So it looks like Landon Peppard going down the hill there. Don't look like he's settling for nothing. He's on the gas.
Yeah, he's decided He'd like to get back after Drew Adams here. He's going to try and get away from Kiefer. He hasn't really been able to separate away from the 47 that much, so those two still third place up for grabs. Looks like Temmerman's starting to move up the field a little bit as well. He's closing in on Driscoll, so that'll be the battle for 6th place coming up. He's less than a second behind the 43.
So, yeah, from Timmerman there in 7th, it goes behind him. You got Wheaton, Freehill, Edwards, Creighton, Searles, Yelton, White, Glather, and Miller. Cade Miller in that final the final transfer position. Carson Manquist still back there on just behind him, but he is going to have to go to the LCQ if he finishes off in 17th.
So there's Jace Allred making his way out of the 12-pack, continuing to charge out front. Drew Adams closes up on him that lap. Wow,
yeah.
He has closed the gap.
4 seconds now.
Yeah, it was
Took a
almost
couple
6,
seconds
and he's
off.
down, yeah.
Little Drew Adams just turned the fastest lap of the race here on lap
There
5.
you go.
Clicked off at 2:13.5, so Drew Adams got his head down.
So this is Schoolboy 2, division number 2. 65 7-9 limited next off the gate. Women's 12 plus in staging. 85 9-13 division 1 and 2 in staging. And mini E Open 4 to 8 limited riders. You should be down in staging as well. That'll be followed by the race number 30, the 125 12 to 17 division 1 and 2. Clicking through the race order here today, we're going to get all the way through. It looks like we might even get into some LCQs. We don't know right now, so we'll keep you posted on that. But we are definitely moving through the race order.
We'll be clicking off our 7 sight lappers here after race 30 or at race 30.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that with the Mini E, starting with the Mini E or starting with race 30. We'll have to see what they say there. We'll get the word on that. But, yeah, it's going to have some more sight laps coming up.
So we got women on the gate right now. Is that correct?
It should be 65 7-9 limited on the gate next. Women will be right
you're
after that.
Yep. Women are 27. I'm excited to watch the women's race today. There's some really fast gals here. Track really coming in nicely and allowing for some pretty solid lap times. Again, Drew Adams on lap 5 turned to 2:13.5.
Yeah, again, hats off to the Freestone track crew here, doing an absolutely stellar job of getting this track sealed up last night. We had a monsoon come through, and by 9 o'clock this morning, this track is back in rideable shape. So, again, hats off to the Freestone track crew there doing their work.
Yeah, visiting with a player a while ago, and he was like, man, I can't believe what kind of shape this track's in. Even visiting with Mike Gosler a bit ago, and they were pretty shocked that the conditions were as good as they are. So,
Well, that's who else is going to be shocked.
oh, my goodness.
Jace Allred's going to be shocked when Drew Adams shows up on his back tire.
his back wheel. 2:11. He just cricked off at 2:11.
Wow. Adams chopping the lap times down.
Well,
He is going to head into jump stand number 3 and all over the back tire of Jace Allred, watching him through the twist and shout section. Adams is coming after him like a freight train.
So, JP Parsons telling us that the rider in 13th position, Jonathan Yelton, out there on a get this, a CR 125. And I'm not sure when the last time they made a CR 125 is, but they chiseled those out of Flint. It's been a minute. Those things still have the square wheels.
All right, out of the Dunlop drop, Drew Adams working on the leader.
Up over 6 into the Shock Sox S-turn. Allred holding him off, but Adams right there on the back wheel starting to eat some of that roost now.
And I'll tell you what, if Adams is able to get up there and pass him, that is going to be a statement right there.
Goodness, Adams swapped hard. You see him swap going down the hill there?
That back tire whooping around. Yeah, guess what he didn't do? He didn't let off the throttle 1 second.
He didn't think anything about it. That's the craziest thing.
Nope.
I about jumped out of my seat, and it was nothing but the thing to Adams.
So they're going to head to that big Suzuki sweeper down the bottom of the section there, the Loop 270. And there is Allred. Nice line. It looks like right around the inside middle. Yeah, he's going to come back up the hill. He is not shaking Adams, though. The 300 is right on him. Coming alongside at the top of the hill. Can't quite get him there. But he showed him a wheel.
Yeah, he knows he's back there. It don't matter. The lap board doesn't matter at this point. Allred feels him, hears him. He can taste him at this point. Here it comes, drag race.
over Cemetery Hill. They're going to go side by side almost to the FMF Powerwall.
I think Adams got the memo up there, up the Bud Moore throttle section, because he was on the gas. Oh,
Here we
he
go.
gets it.
Outside to make the pass. New leader.
Drew Adams pulls a tear off, and he's got clear track in front of him. What can Drew Adams do? He turned a 2:11 last time through. That time a 2:13. That was battling with Allred.
Yeah, Allred at 2:15. There you go. That's the tail of the tape right there, Luke.
Yep.
Landon Peppard continues in third on the 37 gas.
He's 13 seconds back.
Oh, yeah. Kiefer in fourth.
So Drew Adams made the move, and looking out here across the racetrack, trying to oh, yeah, he's starting to move away, going through the Shock Sox S-turn, and he has already got about a 2.5, 3 second margin over Jace Allred, now back in the number 2 spot.
And I got to tell you, Luke, if you're Jace Allred, that's just got to break your spirit a little. He was 6 seconds out.
Yeah.
Adams was in fifth.
Yeah.
And he just ran him down like a rodeo bull.
Well, Adams getting hung up in a back marker there, so now Allred
yeah,
right back
it
up
ain't
on
over.
the back wheel. Yeah, it is not over. But you're right. That's got to be heartbreak or just a mental decomposition coming in there for Jace Allred. When you have that kind of a margin and somebody coming from that far back in the field, and you know you've got that margin, you're seeing it on your lap board and watching that thing close down that quickly. And then once you see him go by and how fast he starts pulling away, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that'll really mess with your confidence. Well, let's see how they shape up here. Yeah, see, he's getting away again. Even though he got a little bit held up with that lap traffic, he is now starting to move away again.
Well, I think we got to face the fact right now Drew Adams is out front because he's the fastest rider in the field.
Yeah, and you know what? Not surprised at all to see this. We've watched Drew over the years from the 65 to the 85, now on the big bike. He was always one of those riders that you could never count him out no matter where he was on the track.
Yeah.
Because he was going to go. He's just going to go. He's got that sprint speed.
Well, turning a 2:15.9 that time, Allred turning a 2:18.6, and so, yeah, Adams comes across 3 seconds out. Peppard still back there in third, waiting for Peppard did just come across right there. So looks like everybody's pretty well sorted out. I mean, if you look at the gaps here, it's not complete for sure. They got to run to the checkered flag, but there's not a whole lot of battling going on anywhere on the racetrack. Everybody's pretty well got themselves sorted out by several seconds.
Well, let's see if Jace Allred can mount a charge to try to chase down the 300 again.
Well, and as we say that, it looks like Allred gets a little hung up over there behind a back marker himself. And of course, it looks like Adams gets through clean. So not doing Allred any favors. The back markers aren't.
Yeah, you know, there are times it'll be good for you and times it'll be bad for you, and that's just one of those things. It's part of racing. You know, you hear a lot of complaints about that, especially with Supercar. Well, they shouldn't be out there if they're not on the lead lap. Well, guess what?
I can't disagree more.
That is part of the race.
Absolutely is. Yep.
A obstacle on the track.
Well, Britt Lambert just came out, unholstered the white flag, so we should be getting close here.
Yeah, time has worn down, that's for sure. So Adams and Allred heading down to the bottom of the section there, that big Suzuki sweeper. There is the 300 coming out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he has definitely came after the leader like a freight train, my friends.
Boy, he has. It's been very impressive to watch him put this charge on and do what he's doing right now. And track is rough right now for sure. Clicking off the 2:11, clicking off the fastest lap of the race in that charge, and here he comes up over Cemetery Hill, charging into the FMF Powerwall.
I'll be interested to see what this lap time is because he really looked like he had to try to put the hammer down to open that gap back up again.
I agree with you. It looked like he had his head down, charging hard, trying to make something happen here. And it's worked. He's got that gap back.
Yeah, white flag is out.
2:14, not as fast as I thought it would be, but it was enough because when you got Allred running at 2:18s, it's
Well, and here's the thing, 2:14 in traffic.
Yeah.
working through the lappers. There you go, all red at 2:16.
Yeah,
So
Allred actually
that's how it
shaved a
adds
couple
up,
off of
folks.
his, but it does add up. It's a 5-second margin right now. With 1 lap to go, Britt Lambert out there, white flag flying. Yeah, incredible run from Drew Adams here. It's neat to watch these guys not give up. You know, you get out there and you're getting beat up with Roos. You don't get a great start. You're struggling through, and you got riders in front of you and all that mess, and you just keep on plugging. And Jace Allred looked like he was the man on a mission here. You know, he took off, started to check out, and it was like, wow, this is a breakout ride for Allred. And Adams just wasn't ready to let Allred have that breakout ride yet, and said, "Nah, I think I'm still up on the list here for the breakout."
Yeah, apparently Adams had a radio on in his head. He was like, "Oh, what? What's that you're saying out there, boys?
Yeah.
Let me make a liar out of you."
Well, that he did, because he charged hard, got up front, and then gapped out on Allred. Great racing here so far today, and heck, the day is grande young. We're just getting warmed up, just getting the lines cut in.
Yeah, plenty of racing left to go for sure. Looking at the 300, hitting that big Suzuki sweeper down there. Drew Adams working towards the top of the hill. The Dunlop Kawasaki Oakley Fox Racing backed ride. And there you go, launching the FMF Powerwall one more time on the run to the checkered flag. That's going to be the race win for the 300. That is Drew Adams taking the win.
Well, got to give props to the Freestone staff and crew here, looking at the paperwork that we're reading off of, and they reuse the papers. So when that other side is clean, they flip it over. So I'm looking, the back side of this one's from 2017. It's got Jeremy Frappani on here, Parker Ross, Kristen Janik, Preston Baysflug in the 65cc 10 to 11 group.
Yeah, I remember that racing as well. So Drew Adams taking the win. Jace Allred second. Aiden Kiefer looking like he might hold on to that third spot. There's Kiefer. So we're looking for Temmerman and Landon Pepper to round out your top 5 here, as we're going to get ready to go now with the riders in the 65, 7 to 8.
Top 16 transfer here in this Schoolboy 2. Heat 2, we got 65s coming in hot. Got the binos up. Here we go. Let's see who gets it. Looks like it's going to come from, and that is the number 4 out front. Looks like,
yeah, looks like Waddell on the 674. Yeah, Waddell. The Anderson Waddell in the second spot there on the 674.
39 entries here on the gate, or on the racetrack right now. So, and they're getting bogged up in that deep stuff over there. Look at them, Don Collings.
Again, that outside line is really soft.
Like they're coming out from around the Linda Skinner to Oak Tree, railing that outside, and they're hitting that stuff, and the bikes are just absolutely stopping.
132 moving up into third. That's Grayson Wilson. So Wilson up into the third spot as we watch them make their way through the Shock Sox S-turn down the Freestone Freeway.
There's definitely some soft spots on the racetrack. If you get off some of those main lines, it's still pretty soupy out there, but most of these 65 riders not having too much of an issue. I say most. I should say a large number or not, but a fair number are struggling through the.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We
got some big
over
pile
there
up coming over that inside roller section.
Yeah. Flagger at 5.
So working through the laps here, 65, 7 to 9 limited. And here is your leader coming through the end of the 12-pack. That is going to be, looks like Cade Nightingale. Losing the drive a little bit there, able to get that bike moving forward again.
Well, he just stuck that front end of that bike into a pocket.
Oh, no, that's
another number
Jaden Smart.
4.
That's
Okay,
Jaden
so
Smart
we've got
out
two
front.
number 4s on the track.
Yeah, so Jaden Smart on the Cobra out front. Cade Nightingale in second. So a little confusion there with the number 4s. Our apologies. It's Gavin Welson in third. Beckham Smith on the number 3 sits in the 4th spot. And Smith, a rider we would normally expect to see out front. We'll see if he can make his way to the front of the pack. Jake Mariner rounds out the top 5.
So Smart, Nightingale, Walzine, Smith, Mariner, Abreu in 6th now. Anxious to watch Smith in these conditions, a rider from West Texas out in the Amarillo area. Doesn't get to ride a lot of mud at home, most likely, but we'll see how he does out here today. A couple of riders down over there between jump 5 and 6. Staff and crew over there. Medics taking care of business.
Yeah, looks like they got them all cleared off the track there and taking good care of them.
Yeah, mad props to Area 51 Films. They're bringing the live streaming coverage on Outlaw Productions TV. It's been absolutely incredible having these guys here, watching them do what they do. Like these racers out here on the racetrack, the upper tier riders out there on the racetrack. These guys are the upper tier in the line of work that they do, and they're a well-oiled machine. And it helps us to do what we do because we get to watch this stuff in areas of the track that we can't see it, and we get perspectives with those GoPro.
That's been a real bonus
Yeah.
for sure, to be able to follow some of those battles into the spots where we can't see them. As good and as high as this tower is, there's a few spots where it's just kind of blind over the bottoms of the hills. So it has been great. And like we were saying before, it gives the riders, or rather gives the viewers at home, an idea of exactly what these riders are dealing with, because there have been a few times when we're watching them go through those deep lines, and it's like, how are you even getting through that?
Yeah, and it's such a realistic perspective with that drone flying through there at helmet height, at pace, the same pace that the riders are doing it, the same height. So you're getting a really, really good perspective. The only thing you don't have is the arm pump and the reality that if you do something wrong, you're going home in an ER.
I actually got arm pump just watching it yesterday.
Right.
I had to put the microphone down. I had arm pump. I'm going to get the arm pump surgery next week.
Well, Smart had a bit of a bobble in the left-hander down here, so it looked like Nightingale was able to reel him in a little bit. There was a 6-second gap last time through, but then shortly after that, it looked like Smart was able to grab a fistful and start to gap back out on Nightingale. They should be materializing here over the FMF Powerwall into the Texas 12-pack here shortly. Get a little more realistic concept of how close the battle is, and here he comes through the 12-pack. It looks like Jaden Smart, and Nightingale looks like he's about 2.5, maybe 2 seconds behind him right now, so the battle is on.
Closing in.
Cade Nightingale with the fastest lap right now, the 2:49.5. Jaden Smart with a 2:53, so right now the gap 1.7.
Yeah, Beckham Smith starting to close up on third place. Gavin Welson, as Smith trying to move himself up towards the front of the pack a little farther. A little bit of a gap back to the 167 of Jake Mariner. He was 167, was 5th last time through.
Well, the women stacking in on the gate right now. That's one that I've been excited to see, so it won't be long getting to be watching the ladies out here slice and dice. Looks like both those riders that were down over there before 6, looks like they're both up on their feet. One's walking away. The other one's trying to get his bike started so he can get back on it right away.
Yep. Always good to see that. Love it when they're able to walk away, ride the bike away, or even finish the moto. That is always a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like Talon Hinson will take over the 6th spot. Anderson Waldell will move to 7th. Aiden Held and Oliver Abreu are 8th and 9th, and Gavin McCoy moves to the top 10. So I don't know if maybe Mariner might have been one of those riders who got collected over there. We'll have to see if he comes around.
Well, 39 entries. This is not a qualifier. This is an absolute moto here. So these guys not racing for gate. Well, they're racing for gate, but they're also racing for.
Yeah, you got to have the points, baby.
Yeah, point. Oh, rider down on the finish.
Over the finish. And another rider gets tangled up.
Rider down on the finish line. A couple riders down. One of them back up on the bike. Both riders up on their feet. And one of them riding away. Looks like both those riders that went down on the finish line going to be able to ride away from the scene of the incident. Great to see that.
Yeah, tough spot because it's really blind. When you take off on that jump, you cannot see what's on the other side. So
no, that's for sure.
that was best case scenario.
Yeah, J.P. Parsons saying, man, you can't turn in the air.
Well, you can, but you can only turn up or down.
Yeah,
Most of the time, you're turning down no matter what you want to do.
Nonetheless, both those riders healthy. They're going to finish the moto, it appears. Jaden Smart still out front. Cade Nightingale in the number 2 spot. Where is that battle? Looks like they're coming through the 12-pack now, huh? Looks like a little more gap there between Smart and Nightingale. It's 2.8 now from a 1.7, so Smart able to pull a second and some change out on Nightingale.
Yeah, he's just inching away a little bit now. And it looks like Smith able to make the move to 3rd, so that'll put Welsen down into 4th.
Looks like Herrick in 5th. Hinson in 6th, Waldell 7th, held 8th, Abreu 9th, and top 10. Gavin McCoy in that final top 10 position.
There you go, and we'll see if those riders can hold there, maybe improve those finishes a little bit. And right now we're looking for the battle between Jaden Smart and Cade Nightingale, a pair of 4s out there. That's not a red cross. That's a yellow flag. Whoa, Nightingale on the number 4 Yamaha had to slide sideways down that hill to avoid a downed rider, and he was able to keep it up on 2 wheels.
That was close. So close. Yeah.
Good bike skill there.
For sure.
So working through the laps here with the 65 7-9 class. Next off the gate, we're going to have the women's 12 plus. 85 9-13 Division 1 and 2 riders, you should be in staging, and then we're going to get set to go with some more sight laps. So riders who have the last 7 motos in the race order, you should be going down to staging to head down for your sight laps here. So we do have a set of sight laps coming up right after the Mini E Open. That is race 29. So riders in the 125, 12 to 17, Division 1 and 2, girls 85 7-9 or 65 7-9, 250B limited Division 1 and 2, Super Mini, girls 65 to 85. You're all going to head down for your sight lap, and that will go right after the Mini E Open, which is just about 3 or 4 races from now. So currently race 26 on the track. We're going to do sight laps for races 30 through 35 right after the Mini E Open. So the white flag out here on the 65cc 7-9 Limited. Jaden Smart, Cade Nightingale still battling for that lead, and they are very, very close. And just like that, Nightingale able to make the pass out of the Dunlop drop. So Cade Nightingale takes over the lead on the final lap, trying to get away from Jaden Smart. They got him coming right out of the turn there.
Wow, well, he's been clicking off some fast lap times here. And on lap 4, Cade Nightingale clicks the fastest lap of the race with a 2:45 and takes over that number 1 spot. Continuing to charge. White flag flying, 1 lap to go. Cade Nightingale, not 1 lap. He is well into his final lap of the moto.
So, yeah, working their way through the Loop 270. We'll watch for them to pop over the top of Cemetery Hill. And there is the number 4 Yamaha. So Nightingale going to charge into the 12-pack one final time on his way to the checkered flag.
Well, persistency paid off. He just kept clicking off those good lap times and rode pretty mistake-free, and here he comes charging through the S-turn here, the VMAC switchback, taking a checkered flag.
Yeah, so Cade Nightingale taking the win. Smart just about a half a second, maybe a full second behind him there. But, boy, Nightingale, like you said, he was patient, waited until the opportunity presented itself, and then pulled the trigger and made the move on the final lap.
Well,
looking for the number 3 of Beckham Smith to hang on a third, Luke.
Well, he turned the fastest lap of the race on that final lap, turned a 2:44.9, so he just kept the bit between his teeth, kept on going forward, and got it done.
Just never gave up, always knew what he wanted to do, kept that forward motion going. Beckham Smith does hold third. And we're looking for the 132 of Welsen and the 677 Anderson Waldell to hang on to 4th and 5th.
So great racing from the 65cc 7-9 limited group. There was 39 of them out there on the racetrack. Nightingale, Smart, Smith, Welzine, Waldell, Abreu, McCoy, Herrick, Held, Morgan's your top 10. And then back there from 11th on, we got Holmes, Pruitt, Letty, Pastrow, Hall, McBride, Thor, Thrasher in 17th. And 18th, you got Taylor, Carapina, let's see here, Rossani. That's your top 20, Bruno Rossani. That is your top 20, 65cc 7-9. We got women 12 up on the race, on the starting line right now. Wow, look at that. All these bikes. How many bikes are coming over to the left side of the racetrack now? It's a pretty good indication that it's just getting really rutted over there on the what is usually the preferred line, just to the inside of the doghouse. There's only a few bikes over there. They're stacked in like stovewood, coming all the way to the far edge of the racetrack right now.
So it looks like we got 19 entries, Luke, in this class. On bike number 10 out of Gun Barrel City, Texas, on the Yamaha Sage Tangler.
On. I got to find it. On 10R, you got Lindsey Morris out of Lago Vista, Texas.
On the 18 KTM out of Cooks Brook, wherever, Hannah Cole, NS.
Okay, on the Kawasaki, the 21 out of Austin, Texas, Kylie Stallings.
On the 24 KTM out of Leduc, I would say Canada, is Bailey Bankar. Honda out of Garberville, California, Zaya Zignata.
Oh, check this out. On the KTM, the 181 from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Samantha Jansen.
On the 257 out of Aubrey, Texas, out of Kawasaki, Lex Clark.
Out of Durban, NA, on the Yamaha, the 484, Cheyenne DeLima.
So we got two sisters out there racing. On the 517, Yamaha to Cairo, Georgia, Reagan Greenwell.
And my friend out of Big Sky, Montana, on the Honda, the number 701 of Tressa Rao.
On the 953, Kawasaki out of Valparaiso, Indiana, Lyndon McDonald.
Well, JP, that
race
was
27.
That was fun. We really got to hack some names up on that one. That was a big time.
God, nobody has normal names. No Smith, no Jones.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Bring the Smiths and Joneses out.
I mean, even Navarre, that's easier to pronounce.
I'm excited to see this race number 27. We have got some extremely fast women here. Looks like they're doing a little pause for the cause out there, doing a little track work. Got the dozer over here cleaning some stuff up. As these last few riders have got dozer coming here right here in front of the finish line. They had to make sure that there were still no 65 riders down here in that rut in the canyons, what they call ruts. Those were absolute canyons. Trying to clean up this stuff here a little bit. Well, right. Cleaning up a few hiccups here on some of the jumps here. We had some kickers and stuff starting to form on the finish line. They decided, you know what, we better keep our guys intact. Let's fix some things up before these women go out there.
A little tune-up, a little early facelift for them.
Well, I've talked about it a little bit, JP, but I want to bring mention to the 701 of Tressa Rao, the rider out of Big Sky, Montana, 49 years young out there on the Honda.
Oh, wow.
Well, just a few years ago, her husband, and her son all qualified for Loretta Lynn's.
I heard that. I mean, how often has that happened?
Well, it's never happened.
Really?
That's the first time it's ever happened, and AMA did an article about it in the magazine, and it was a big deal. I mean, it's a pretty cool deal, and that family eat up with moto.
Well, just to make it to Loretta Lynn's, to qualify to Loretta Lynn's is an amazing
Absolutely
feat.
is. Yeah, I don't know what the statistics would be, how small how many zeros would be after the number to get what they got to have all three of them qualify, but they did. So anyway, pretty cool stuff. And
Yes, wow. Hey, a family that rides together stays together.
Yes, sir. Well, I've gotten to know them from doing some events up in Helena, Montana, and the 32-1 premix event in September. I go up. It's a big two-stroke race, and they help sponsor that event. So they're up there every year, and got to know them quite a bit over the last few years. And it's just a great family, and they're so deep into the sport. They absolutely love it. And Tressa.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Well,
like they all three qualified for Loretta Lynn's.
Yeah, they're all
Very
absolutely
cool.
all in. So neat stuff, and
Yes.
neat little tidbit there.
Nah, it's good to have some kind of the background information on people, you know. 'Cause,
Yeah.
There's so many people out there we don't know, we like to know.
Yeah,
Gives
yeah.
us more stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I know Tressa went down just recently out, I think, in Arizona at the Open. Maybe not the Open, but in Arizona somewhere, I believe. And I think it was just a few days ago. And anyway, it looked like she broke her hand. It was pretty nasty looking. So I seen her the night at the barbecue and asked her if she was going to ride. She said, well, I'm going to try. And she showed me her hand. And, of course, I'm a little confused because her hand looks broken and Justin has a black eye. But either way, I'm not going to – but, no, her hand looked really, really gnarly. I asked her if she's going to ride. She said, if I can hang on, I'm going to do it. So I seen her out there in practice. And so obviously she was able to do it. So I talked to her in the pits, and she said, yeah, it hurts. But, I came here to ride, so I'm going to ride. So,
Man, that's a tough woman. 49 years young.
yep. 49. Cameron Negretti, she just come back. She'd been off the bike for a while, and seen her out at the qualifier out in Amarillo last week, and got to visit with her a good bit. Got to interview her, so really cool to see her back out here, mixing it up in the women's class. She's fast. Obviously you got the likes of Kylie Stallings out here, the 21 rider out of Austin, Texas. She's not local fast, she's global fast, and she's usually a favorite anywhere she goes. We'll definitely keep an eye on her. Sophia Phelps, absolutely blazing fast. So there's some super fast women here today. It ought to be a good time watching these ladies out here slice and dice as they sounds like they're firing them up down there on the starting line. Oh, I heard something else. Maybe I heard the dozer slamming into the building down here or something. I felt the building start to shaking, and so I thought, they're firing up the four strokes. Still working on the track, just trying to tidy things up just a bit. Again, there were some kickers and stuff starting to form and develop, and they don't want to play that game, so they're tidying things up. And I know everybody's anxious and chomping at the bit to get out there and slide through the mud, but want to keep it as safe as possible, so they are taking care of business.
There's no mud out there.
It's so
gone.
incredible. It is so incredible.
The Dirt Magicians right here at Freestone Raceway have accomplished another feat. Kudos to all you guys. Great job, track crew.
Well, having the wherewithal yesterday, seeing that it was coming, they shut things down a little bit early yesterday, JP, because they knew that they need to get things sealed and get things taken care of. So they were way ahead of the curve. It's like the riders, the top upper tier riders that know what they're doing and are good at it. Track crews and track people, dozer operators, they know their dirt. They know the lay of the land here, and they were on point of getting things sealed up. So they're fired up down there now. Is that right, Kevin Kozad? They got them started down there? All right. Fixing to have the action coming in hot and heavy. Hard to call who's going to take even the whole shot here, but there's some – I can say that Cameron Negretti has been a really good starter throughout her career.
Yes, but you can't take out the Kawasaki rider, Team Green rider, Kylie Stallings.
No, for sure. That bike don't know there's anybody up there. She is tiny. I mean, she is absolutely tiny. So power to weight ratio, she gets the nod right there because there's just nobody on top of the bike. They're getting the heat and the motors down there on the starting line right now for race number 27. Race number 27 on the gate. Race number 28 in staging. Got two divisions there. Then after race number 29, we're going to get our next 7.
Make sure to make your way over to the food court. It is lunchtime. We got Cluck Moo, Earl and Pearls, Route 61, and, of course, Big House Barbecue and Frank's Pizza. So kind of a variety to enjoy your day right here at Freestone for the 13th Annual James Stewart Spring Championship, brought to you by Parts Unlimited Thor and Rocky Mountain ATV.
Well, I've had Cluck Moo and Big Howls the last couple days, and both of them are absolutely on point. Waiting for the 2-minute board. Still slight holding pattern here. Waiting for last few I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed so we can drop this gate number 27, race number 27, women's 12 plus, 13th annual. Here we go. 2-minute board is up, JP. It's fixing to happen. Is fixing to a word? It is a word, but I mean,
It is a Texas word.
I was going to say, is it a word like in the Northeast? Is fixing to? Do y'all know? No, comprende?
No. Our guys from California always used to laugh about that. Fixing.
Here we go. They're off.
And we got two Kawasaki's out front.
Looks like the 56 Phelps going to take the whole shot.
I think that's
Looks
21.
like the 21 there, the number 2. I almost said like a herd of turtles, but you better not call ladies a herd of nothing. No. So word on the street is Phelps been working really hard in the off season, and looks like it's showing early here. She said she wasn't very satisfied with.
Hey, give us a spot there, Shan man.
Maybe not taking an L last year, but not winning last year. So to Sophia, not winning is an L, and her position right now is wants to be in the W spot, and that's where she's at, holding on early on with Kylie Stallings right there on the back wheel on the 21 machine. These two ladies, they've been known to swap paint a time or two in the past.
So 115 and third. We actually got 3 Kawasaki's out front. 4 Kawasaki's out front. 953 of Lillian McDonald. The 18 of Hannah Cole. And the 701 of Teresa Rao. Big Sky.
I've been to Big Sky. Man, that's a cool place to be. They've got some really sick mountain bike trails and stuff that you take the ski lift up and ride down. And I didn't do that. My next venture to Big Sky is I want to go shoot the Total Archery Challenge there. But beautiful country, beautiful place. And but you kind of got to walk with your butt cheeks clenched up with your pinkies extended and stuff because it's a hoity-toity bunch of folks out there in that country.
God, you wouldn't think, but hey.
Well, yeah, it's you don't want to look loose and flabby, so you got to keep them firm. So look like you just left the.
On the line, race 28, 85 ZC9 to 13 Division 1 and Division 2 in staging. On the track right now is race 27, our women's 12 plus.
They're coming through the 12-pack right now. Phelps out front, Stalling. Look at Stallings, gets a great drive through the 12-pack. Almost side by side, coming over the finish line.
So it's a drag race through the James Stewart ski jump to the number 1 roller. And Kylie Stallings takes the outside line.
Oh, there comes the 115 machine in third, just now coming across. They had Stallings at .513 behind Sophia Phelps as they come across the finish line. Sheltima 14 seconds back from Stallings in third. Side by side out of the twisted shout. Looks like Phelps still out front.
Looks like a move
Did
by
Stallings make the move?
So Stallings takes over the lead. They make that left-hand turn up the Dunlop drag strip to Leonard Skinner Oak Tree. And our new leader is the youngster, the 21. Of course, they're all young out there. It's 21, Kylie Stallings out of Austin, Texas.
Yeah, watching Phelps come through the 12-pack a while ago, she ended up just kind of slamming faces into the 12-pack, cost her big, and then Stallings was able to rhythm through nice and clean and got right up on the back wheel of Phelps, has made the move. They're going through the Shock Socks S-turn right now. Phelps going to go inside out. Can she get her back? Nope, Stallings not going to allow it.
They both took the different lines through the Shock Socks S-turn. Now they're going through the Blake Baggett berm.
Oh,
it's a drag race.
Sophia
up the
makes
Kawasaki
the move.
Step up, and it looks like Sophia Phelps takes the inside and takes over the lead.
Yeah, Phelps out front. They're going to drop down the hill there, go back down into that Loop 270 section. So Phelps takes it away from Stallings. Going to go back into this deeply rutted, long 270-degree left-hander. And the drone right there catching all the action, giving us a good perspective of what the racetrack looks like back there where these ladies are back there mixing it up in the Freestone Loam. Into the right-hander now, fixing to come through the Bud Moore throttle section of the racetrack here after this left-hander. Look at the braking bumps down in the bottom there. Phelps still out front. JP, they're coming through the Bud Moore throttle section of the racetrack.
Now they're hitting the FMF Powerwall, which is, if you get at the base of that, it's kind of scary.
Well, this is where Phelps had her issues last lap. She's got to figure out a line, and it didn't work again. Look at Stallings. She's got it dialed. Stallings has logged a lot of laps here at Freestone. Looks like it's paying off now.
Now, once again, it's a drag race over the James Stewart ski jump section.
Both riders having to negotiate the back marker there. Lapping Lex Clark right now on lap 2.
Because I tell you, if Lex hadn't been there, Kylie Stallings would have taken that outside line and probably taken over the lead.
Look at these lap times, JP Parson. Both riders turning a 2:28. Sophia Phelps turning a 2:28.0. Stallings turning a 2:28.2. 0.2 of a second between these two on lap time, and they're dealing with back markers just about every corner right now.
And Brianna Sheltma on the 115 in the third slot.
Stallings lost a little bit of ground on Phelps back there over that back marker. They go around the Leonard Skinner oak tree. Who do you got back there in third, fourth, fifth, JP?
We have got Alicia Gogol and Zaya Zagati. Ziganati. Yeah, some Italian name. And the 43 of Michaela Thomas out of McRae, Georgia.
Pretty good battle here between the 953 of McDonald and Negretti. They're running back there, it looks like 8th and 9th. Hey, there's Tressa Rao running in 7th. She already come through. I'm impressed with Tressa Rao. I know she's running out there with an injured paw.
Yeah, so currently running 9th. That's pretty awesome, really.
That's incredible. Like you said, 49 years young out there slicing and dicing with the kiddos.
She's triple the age of a few of those out there.
Yep.
So, wow.
Well, and she's proud that she's out there at this age, still out here competing. That 49 to her is she's thrilled that she's still able to do that at 49 years young, as you would say.
Yeah. Yeah, you never want to call a female old.
So it looks like Sophia Phelps starting to get a little breathing room. Ooh, a little bit of a hiccup there, but I think everybody's having moderate hiccups throughout the racetrack. Up and over Cemetery Hill, slamming into the FMF Powerwall. Sophia Phelps coming through the 12-pack now, and she does have a fair amount of breathing room, but she struggles with that 12-pack there. And look at how clean Stallings is every time through that section of the racetrack. She reels in a bunch of bike links every lap.
Well, I mean, both riders no stranger to Freestone. They have got hundreds and hundreds of laps on this track.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Phelps struggling through the 12-pack, but the rest of the racetrack looks like she's able to do well on. She just turned a 2:25.3, where Stallings turned a 2:26.8. So that puts a 2.1 second gap between the two as they come over the finish line last time through. So race number 27 on the track. They're out there slicing and dicing, mixing it up. Race number 28 on the gate. 28 going to have two divisions.
And then, hey, race 29 is going to be our mini electric class, 4 to 8 years of age.
Hey, and after the mini electric class, we're going to have our sight lap group coming up.
Which will be 30 through 36. No, 35.
Looks like the 257 machine that's Lex Clark down there. She's down, she's not out. She's back up on top of the bike, trying to get that thing moving. It's just kind of in the gumbo there. She's having a tough time getting it out of there.
All right, you 250 pro sport riders, we need you down the staging. Time now, 12:20. You will launch at 1 p.m. First call, 258 Pro Sport. All right, back to race action in our women's class 12 plus, race 27. Sophia Phelps out front, Kylie Stallings in second, Brianna Schmeltla in third, Alicia Google in fourth.
Yeah, just discussing with Don Collings. Ooh, rider down out there. Discussion with Don Collings. How Phelps is just losing so much ground. Yeah, a little cleaner through the 12-pack, and that's going to help her exponentially. Lex Clark going down. She just got back up and went down again, so. So Sophia Phelps got a 1.8-second margin their last time through. But if she gets her 12-pack dialed, that's going to help her a lot, because that's where Kylie Stallings has really been reeling her back in, is through the 12-pack. And, I mean, it's been day and night difference, the two riders coming through that section of the racetrack. And it looks like that last time through, Sophia's finally starting to get it dialed.
So both of them running like 2.27s right now, Luke.
Yep.
And only Kylie's about less than 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, both these riders. Yeah, they've got a gaggle of lappers that they're trying to slice and dice their way through right now. And it looks like Stallings got through a lot cleaner. Oh, Stallings is down.
Stallings ran into the back of her rear tire with her front tire. I mean, an honest little mistake, but she's just now picking up her bike.
Well, Stallings was getting through the back markers cleaner than Phelps, and then all of a sudden, there she is laying in the dirt. So Stallings into the back end of Phelps. They ended up in the same line there trying to negotiate the back markers, because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 7 back markers that basically nose to tail that they were trying to get through. And, yeah, Stallings just now getting up. She's still going to hold on to the number 2 spot.
Yeah, she's probably still in second place.
Oh, yeah, it's 57 seconds back to Sheltima.
Oh, yeah. No, that is inappropriate.
So Phelps, a lot of breathing room now. Now she can really focus on getting this 12-pack dialed, and that's what I would suggest to her right now, is just really find yourself a way through that section, because this is moto number 1, and you're going to get to do it again here the next day or two. And, again, last time it looked like she made her way through there a lot cleaner. It's a tough section. If you've not ever had a chance to come and try to negotiate the 12-pack, a little cleaner that time. She's still not Kylie Stallings clean. Yeah, she's found a line over on the inside of the racetrack. Seems like she's a little tidier through there. But you get a chance to watch, oh, the white flag is out. Get a chance to watch Kylie Stallings through that 12-pack. She's absolutely greasing it. And it's a long enough section of the racetrack you can make up a bunch of time there. So got our eyes on 21. I just want to see if she can get through there clean. There she comes. Such a fast line that Kylie Stallings has through that section. So she is already back up onto the back wheel of all these back markers she was trying to get through.
All right, we'll see how far Sophia is ahead of Kylie in just a moment. Wait for her ears to go.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. She's going to make her way back through all these back markers. It'll look neat watching her make the charge. But barring a mechanical or a mistake from Phelps, which could definitely happen.
As Shad would say, barring any crazy unforeseen circumstance,
Yep.
she should be able to take the win.
Yep. But we have seen time and time again these last couple of days that those crazy unforeseen circumstances seem readily available. They just seem to continue to jump up here. And would not be surprised at all. I mean, we got a rider down at the bottom of the hill there.
So the running order is still the same. Phelps out front, Stallings in second, Sheltma in third, Luke Goggle in fourth, Ziganati in fifth, Cameron to get sixth, Lillian McDonald seventh, Cheyenne De Lima in eighth, Hannah Cole ninth, and Teresa Rao in 10th. Good for Teresa. Tressa. See, another one of those normal names.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me in that when I was growing up in Dallas those names.
Yeah, that's pretty cool for Tressa to be in that top 10 there, because I know that she's running in pain right now, and if you see her hand, you'd recognize, yeah, she's legitimately pressing through a lot of pain to be out here circulating right now. So
Man,
here comes the race
she
leader.
might be in the top 5 if it wasn't for that. You think?
Let's see here. Yeah, she could be.
Yeah.
Here she comes through the 12-pack, and that is not the smooth line.
Man, she is struggling with that.
Well, and Stallings is just committed to doubling, and,
Yeah.
and Phelps just doesn't feel comfortable with doubling that, and so she's just having to face into him.
I
Checker
think
flag flies.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit psychological just because it is with all the sand and stuff, and it is a little bit soft. But, in sand, the faster you go, the smoother it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's still, there's some commitment there to double through that section. There's some commitment that if you haven't done that section very often, when it gets chewed out, cupped out like it is right now, it's the commitment that Stallings has coming through there, it's legit. So there comes Stallings. She is going to finish in second, and she's still going to be probably 30-plus seconds behind Sophia Phelps. It is a two-moto format, so Stallings still in a great position to take the overall. Both those riders know. I don't know if Stallings knew where she was on the racetrack when she got up. I think she probably had a pretty good clue pretty quickly after she got up. She was still in that number 2 spot.
After 7 bikes going by her, you kind of
Right,
get a question in your head, even though Sophia and Stallings, were so far out front from the rest.
Right.
All right, here we go. Race 28, 85cc, 9-13, division number 1.
All right, the gate is down. And it looks like the 444 of Wyatt Duff out front with a whole shot. The 317
And
moving to the
Tristan-
second. That's Tristan Pruitt. And now Darren Pine going to make the move around on the 53 to take the lead, or 58, I should say.
So once again, it's Pine time.
Yeah, he is no stranger to being at the front of the... All right, so leader's making their way down into that section right before the Dunlop Expressway. Coming to the Oak Tree turn, Darren Pine out front. 317 ride of Tristan Pruitt in second. And it looks like it's going to be Tace Morgan moving to third on the 810. That'll drop the 444 back to the 4th spot. That's Wyatt Duff. And it looks like Ryder Ellis up into the top 5 on the 877. And moving into the top 10 there now to 6. That's going to be Grayson Townsend on the 87.
Once again, it's a bunch of nice.
So first lap
Kawasaki's
here in
up
the
front
85
again.
9-13 division number 1. Starting to sort itself out a little bit on the track. As we continue to work around through the race order here, this is race number 28.
Division number
out
1
on the track. And we need the riders in the 250A Pro Sport down in staging.